as I look to the horizon, not a cloud, but then storming with a still too cold. Seems like it crept up out of nowhere, all around you is not what you foretold. You never see it coming. You see that my mind is too fast for your eyes. You're done there. By the time you see you, you're not surprised.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is DSP News. Ladies and gentlemen, continuing our coverage of Detractor Ball Z, we are going over the truce that Phil has called out. We'll be with Snorpernell as well as Mr. Stuffs. Should be very interesting. And what is a truce actually? Well, it's said to be an agreement between both sides to basically cease fire for a set period of time to make amends, or to at least come to an agreement over a situation after and whatnot to cease the fighting, which is all well and good, I suppose. The thing is for Phil is he could have done this years ago, many years ago, in fact. At the end of what people like to call the escort saga, if you go within that saga itself, you break it down into two arcs, or at least I've done it, meaning that you had the Kimberly arc and then you had the doxing arc. Phil has lost quite a bit, especially over the last 24 hours or so. You know what I mean? He's lost credibility with his website. He's lost, 3 major contributors. Thank you to Doom for sending me the email last night. Losing 3 major contributors. He has lost quite a bit in this. And he thinks that, and the thing is he wants to call a truce because he doesn't want something like this to happen to him again. But also, in his back pocket, he, if you guys can actually pick that up, in his back pocket, actually that was a metaphor. That was a good metaphor, actually. Anyway, in his back pocket, he still has the girlfriend out there, whether she's real or not. The escort saga does not in any way actually bring to light whether his girlfriend is real or not. It doesn't. It just means that Kimberly was a massive troll, which a lot of people already thought. And at the end of the day, as I said in the first video, it was entertaining. It's what it was meant to be. It was meant to be funny and whatnot. What was the long-term con for them? What was their end game? We don't know. Excuse me. We may never know. But it was entertaining while it was. Actually, at the time that I'm recording this, Mr. Medicare should be actually dropping a video today that's going to go over all of that, at least from what he observed. That should be out super entertaining. I might actually go over that video if people want me to. Nah, I probably shouldn't, because it's Medicare and he's greatness in itself. Yeah, he's greatness in itself. I'm sure every detractor is going to watch that. If you guys are not watching that, if that video is out at the time that this video goes up, I'll have it in my description. If not, then just watch it. Or in the third video I put out, if I remember, I'll put it in my description. It's going to be greatness. It's going to be absolute greatness what Medicare is going to bring to the table. So, and if you guys know who Mr. Medicare is, you guys know how that works out. With that being said, though, Phil's lost a lot in this whole situation. Now, granted, some damage control could have helped this in some way, shape, or form, but Phil doesn't believe in that. Phil basically is like, hey, this is what's going on, give me your money. And it's funny because I actually haven't seen either the truth videos yet, which is funny being that it's been, let's see, Snorpernell did his on the 18th, I believe, and I still haven't seen it yet. Just been behind. I can see, if you can see from his forums currently, people still want out. And if you see in his chat, there's a lack of trust, there's a lack of faith there, which is rather befitting given the circumstances. Now, like I said, I don't know what Phil's going to say, but I'm sure he's going to stand on his 10-year little legacy and be like, hey, you know, I've been around for a very long time. I'm not going anywhere. You guys have no reason not to trust me. I can think of a bunch of reasons not to trust you. But what are you going to do now? You know what I mean? And as it pertains to this truce, what's really going to come out of it for you? What's going to come out of it for the detractors? Because to be perfectly honest with you, no one's going to stop. Snort Brunell's not gonna stop making videos. Dipshit Phil's not gonna stop making videos. Mr. Stuff's not gonna stop making videos. I hope MDP or Marcus's Daily Productions doesn't stop making videos. I know he's on like a little bit of a break right now, but hopefully he doesn't stop making videos. D's not gonna stop making videos. You know what I'm saying? Almighty Tevin, Arjun, Theo, and everybody else are not gonna stop making videos. So what's the end game? You know what I'm saying? So the videos aren't gonna stop. But you don't want all of this extra. I'm assuming he doesn't want all of this extra stuff to keep going, because that apparently he feels that hit his credibility. In truth, the escort thing didn't bother. It shouldn't have bothered him in any way, shape, or form as it pertains to his relationship, unless you're hiding shit from your girlfriend. You know, and if your girlfriend allegedly knows about you and knows about your online presence, then she understands that you're going to have a lot of this extra banter and all this bullshit going on, unless she doesn't really know about that. So what's the real truth, Phil? You're wanting the ceasefire because it touched you close, being that your website and more importantly your community, the same community that you were like la 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 la, you know, it's your fault that you guys went over there. I have nothing to do with that. Shit, you better go ahead and deal with that on your own. You're safe over here. But then people keep bringing up, myself included, bringing up this Be Awesome One situation. Actually, I hope D does that for one of your future videos. D, if you're listening to this video, sir, I would love for you to do a small expose on the Be Awesome One situation. I'll even send you the link to the video if you need it. I'd love for you to make a small clip out of that. That'd be great. But anyway, shouts out to D. Yeah, so what are you gonna do? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the more that you try to avoid the situation, the worse it made you look. So what can you really provide? What reassurances can you give to your community? You don't have to worry about the detractors, but what reassurance can you give your community now that they're going to be safe? You know what I'm saying? You've lost three whales, and you've thrown another guy who used to like you and used to hate you and now hangs around you, though he doesn't like you. I don't understand the situation with KG in that situation, but then you threw him under the bus on some bullshit. You know what I mean? Even I think that's kind of shitty, even though KG was allegedly initiating the attack on the Kimberly account to try to not make amends, but to see what that was really about. So in turn, he was still working towards your interest, even though he allegedly doesn't like you. You decided to toss him under the bus before Vidal, and you lost Vidal anyway. And you got KG, who now if he wasn't pissed off at you before, he has a good reason now. This was poor planning, and this was certainly poor decision making. And yet again, this is what happens when you're reactive as a person. But that's neither here nor there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's my opening report. I'm trying to keep that stuff short and whatnot. Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News. Always late, never breaking. Unreliable coverage that you can't count on. A GTG network and productions. You guys all know the slogan. And we're going to get into our first video by Snort Brunell, DSP Gaming. Goodbye, Kimberly. And neighbor of Truce. Oh my Christ. This should be fun. All right, guys. You guys all know the slogan. Let's watch me work.
Oh my god! What the fuck?
Holy shit! That is an epic fucking intro, dude. Oh my god, excuse me. Sound good?
Sounds great. Also, Snort Brunell actually did 3 new intros. I think people voted for the original. You know, it's what made him famous, essentially. There's nothing wrong with change, I don't think. I think that change is a good thing. And like I said, I like all 3 of his trailers. To be honest with you, I think he should just rotate between trailers every couple of videos. To be honest, I'm gonna actually start working on a couple new trailers myself. They won't be nearly as good as Snort Brunell's, but I'm gonna work on some new trailers and whatnot, and I'll probably just rotate them. Maybe we'll see. We'll see what people like and what they don't like. But just for the record, Snort Brunell, I liked all 3 of them. So if you kind of just threw all 4 of them in the rotation, the 3 new ones you made plus the old one, I think that's still a great idea. If not, and if I really had to choose one, I like number 3. Number 3 is really good. But the original, yeah, man, go where it works though. I like the original, but at the same time, I understand you wanting to kind of change it up. So, and that's what makes Snort Brunell as appealing as it is. So, last year was a good year for him. I think this year will be even better. So, shouts out to Snorper now. Shouts out to everybody. All right, my bad. Let's get into it.
A story claiming that I had hired an escort from, I guess, the Netherlands. I didn't even know that until now. And shipped her over to the United States to spend several weekends with me. Basically, every time.
Shipped her over? She's not a package. You flew her over. Shipped her. She's not a package. Jesus Christ. She's not fucking. She's not a. She's not a. She's not a doll. I mean, shit.
I had said that I had spent time away to spend with my girlfriend, claiming that I don't have a girlfriend. That instead it was this escort who I had paid thousands and thousands of dollars to ship her over here and spend time with and basically, have my way with.
Oh.
And the pictures that I had taken during Christmas were not my girlfriend, but were this escort, okay? Again, no evidence whatsoever was ever provided for any of this. It was all circumstantial shit. Whoever this was that was doing this had a social media account on Twitter showing all these pictures, apparently claiming that they were verified by an escort network, and they were a professional escort, and they had all this evidence that they were a professional escort and all this. Of course, never actually provided any concrete evidence whatsoever of anything they were saying. But, folks, sadly, the internet is an immature, gullible, drama-filled place. And there were hundreds, if not thousands of people who believed the situation, okay? They thought it was true. Because a lot of people, number one, they don't like me for various bullshit reasons over the years. They listen to all the slander about me and believe it to be true, and therefore they say there's no way that this could be false. This is just the next thing for Phil, the next negative thing. Even though, since day one, I said it's completely false, don't believe it, there's no evidence. For a month, over a month.
Wait a second. You said, actually, if I remember correctly, you said you didn't know too much about it. You didn't understand why people were coming to your chat, and you were just basically like, that sounds like just some trolling type hater stuff. I'm not going to pay any attention to it, if I remember correctly. And then when the attack dogs came back with the information, then you were just like, this is false, and even then you still let it go. You know what I mean? You let a lot of it go. You didn't really address it, which was kind of smart at the time, to be honest with you, because there was quite a bit of attention brought to you, and then you started going on these little tirades where instead of just passively just letting it go, because like I said, this escort situation doesn't hurt you and whatnot, especially when you look at it with now that what we know. You know what I mean? You just acted poorly during it. You should have just let it all go and it's whatever. But,
Actually. This thing has been going on. Alright? It's just been going on and on and on. And I keep denying it, and it keeps getting worse. The thing is, the more I deny it, the worse it would get, because whoever was running this catfish account, claiming to be an escort, just kept escalating it. First it was that they had come and visited me several times. Then it was, I owe them money. I didn't pay them the money for the last time, which is ludicrous. It's not how escorts work. You have to pay up front.
How do you know that? Whatever.
Again, people are so fucking stupid. They're so dumb and ignorant. Why am I toxic?
Exactly.
They want to believe it, right? Like, yes, because I'm sure that escorts and prostitutes work on easy pay payments where you pay half up front and then half later. What the fuck? You're an idiot.
Basically, nothing of this story ever rang true. Then it got even worse and worse, compounding it. Phil abused women in the past. We have evidence that Phil was a woman abuser, and it wasn't just this escort. There were other escorts involved. And Phil likes to get dildos up his butt. That was delicious. Oh my god! Oh! Phil has gouty, fat butt. It was just the most ridiculous fucking thing possible. Really, it was.
I just adamantly...
It's still entertaining, though. It is very, very entertaining. Like I said, he probably should have just flowed with it. Even with the denials and whatnot, he should have just let it go. He should have just let it happen and whatnot. Because let's be honest, when the situation that came after that, when the doxing arc started, that right there really screwed him. You know what I mean? In the way he reacted, he gave more light to the escort, to the Kimberly arc than he did to the doxing arc. And ladies and gentlemen, which one was more important? Which one really needed his attention? You know what I mean? He could have just said it wasn't true and then just stopped right there and just let it go. But when this doxing situation happened, he should have addressed that. So there's just priorities.
Denied it and said, there's nothing I could do to defend myself, because the only thing I could possibly do to defend myself is to reveal my girlfriend, which I'm not willing to do yet because she has.
But you were almost ready to. I will say, if anything almost came out of this whole, out of the Kimberly arc, he almost did put her out there because he had no choice at all. You know what I mean? He had no choice. And the thing is he can't forcibly move. Let's say she's real. He can't forcibly move her from wherever she's at to where he's at now. He says that she has a job already. They're seeing if the job can be transferred. She's about to, lose her current residence because of the house she's renting or whatever the situation is with that. The owner is ready to sell, I guess. And she's going to have to move. But she doesn't have to move clear across country. She could just get another apartment like around the way and see how this relationship works out. So like I said, if she don't pop up in February, well, it'll be interesting to see what his excuse is then. But,
Doesn't live with me. You all know what would happen if I had revealed my girlfriend early, right? Immediately people would have scoured the internet for information about her. Let's get information about this girl and let's dox her and let's attack her and let's do nasty things to her. And that's why I didn't do it.
So for my own, I'm all about myself.
The good of my girlfriend, I said, you know what? I'm just going to adamantly deny all these allegations until finally when she moves in with me in mid-February, it's all going to be revealed that it was bullshit anyway because they're going to see that she's real. Now, you may say, what was the end goal of this person who was doing this catfishing and all this with the escort? I don't know. Just to slander me. So, folks, I just kept denying it and whatever. And we went on. Now, sadly, the thing blew even worse out of proportion. Because then...
Now, Phil, I'm going to be honest. With what she was inserting into herself, I don't think she was thinking that hard about you. Just saying. I'm just saying. You saw what I saw, Phil. That baseball bat was damn near to the hilt. like damn near to the hand grip. It was, trust me, I doubt she was thinking about you, Phil, when she was doing what she was doing. God knows where the golf club was going to go next. Just saying.
Then there was a group of people on the internet who don't like me and who purposely make it their focus of their time to basically slander me all the time and say nasty things about me.
Oh, that was another thing too, like how he tried to make KiwiFarms seem like their entire existence was dedicated to bringing Phil down. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing that he believed that he's such a narcissist that a whole website was dedicated were strictly just detractors first off, and the whole point of their existence was to bring him down. Even though he does have an actual section that's just Phil related stuff, and it's growing larger and larger by the day. And it's super entertaining. You guys really need to start heading over to the Hyperbolic Time Chamber. As you guys know on this channel, we call that KiwiFarms. And go ahead and get your game up. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and push your guys' selves up to the next form of Super Saiyan. Because if you want information, it's there. And it's abundant. And it isn't going anywhere because they archive everything. So check it out, man. It's definitely dope. We all need some Hyperbolic Time Chamber training. I'll be heading over there later. So Kenny and Kevin are currently there now. That's why I'm recording by myself, as usual. DSP now.
Who basically were propagating this story, and they kept promoting it and kept pushing it on the internet. And so a group of my viewers and fans,
Darth Radovan Viking with a wig,
went over to them and basically started, I guess, from what I understand, harassing.
What do you mean you guess? All right. What do you mean you guess? Come on, Phil. You know exactly what they did. And you know exactly what you did because you probably sent them. To be honest. I'm not saying that Brightside is not going to move on his own accord. But let's be honest. Phil, I'm pretty sure you sent them over there. If you didn't send Brightside, you sent somebody else for sure. And at least you knew they were going over there to do this. So let's be honest. But then again, it ended up saving your bacon. I mean, like I said, Brightside Viking ended up saving your bacon in the end anyway. But, we'll talk about that later.
Them and doing nasty stuff to them, maybe possibly doxing them and threatening them. Again, none of it can be proven. I don't know what really happened. But basically, all blew out of proportion. Then we had people getting doxed and stuff. It was out of control. And this was all something that was based on complete and utter lies and bullshit. Not any truth to it, and I wasn't involved in it. It was all behind the scenes done to me, even though all I do is sit here and play video games with you guys.
So you were throwing people under, if you think about it, ladies and gentlemen, he was planning on throwing anybody and everybody who went over there to defend him under the bus from the hop. He was going to toss them under the bus either way. But that kind of fits into Phil's MO, so I guess that's nothing new.
Every day. I know this story sounds absolutely ludicrous to you. It sounds ludicrous to me too, but it's true. It actually happened. You knew eventually this was gonna. There's no way if this story was fake, it was gonna hold. There was no way. There was no. Again,
There's no way you could just lie, and never have a fact behind it and expect this story to hold.
You mean like this? That you mean like everything you say? There's just a snidbit of truth to it, just like that, right, Phil? Yeah.
By the way, I really desperately need the money
Of course you do.
to help with my tax situation.
Sure do.
So, hint, hint, save the house. I need that money. I really do. I need that money to pay my bills.
Sure do.
so yesterday, apparently, I don't know how it happened, but someone put this story about me being with an escort and all that, having, not paying them and shit like that. Put the story up over on Reddit, and apparently the thread blew up. Thousands of people read the thread. And within, hours, I was getting bombarded on social media, again, by another wave of idiots who believed the story with no evidence, attacking me, slandering me. People came on the streams yesterday, attacking me, slandering me. And I'm like, you know what? It is what it is. I don't give a fuck. I'm just going to do what I did the whole time. Okay? And ignore it and say, listen, it's not true. Let's just play games. And that was the attitude I took.
I'm not a whiny baby. I'm a mature adult. And I'm not a children's entertainer.
Sure isn't. Wow.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, finally, people went too far. Because you know what happens is when a story like that finally breaks, okay, guess what happens? Other people take notice who normally would not have seen the story. And it just so happens a certain man was basically over on Reddit, saw the story, clicks on it, looks at these pictures of this supposed escort.
And that was convenient, too, if you think about it. Like, given the timing of that, all of a sudden it hits Reddit, and then all of a sudden one guy sees it and is like, hey, I think I know her. It was convenient. The timing is just a bit too convenient when it comes to that. But anyway, that's just part of the story. It's what makes the story intriguing even now. So
Says, I know that girl. Wait a minute. I actually know this person.
and Snorbernell says the same
And
thing.
she's not a fucking escort.
And yet again, Snorbernell says the exact same thing. It's suspicious how coincidental everything lined up all on the same day, and then all of a sudden the Kimberly account basically just drops off the face of the earth. And not only that, is all the other escort accounts that were kind of associated, they dropped off, and then there was a couple of there was like one or two additional accounts that were helping to support Kim's case. Like one of them was like, oh yeah, I introduced Phil to her like 2 or 3 years ago, yada yada yada. That disappeared too. Almost as quickly as it popped up, it disappeared.
What is this? So then he ran over and talked to his, I believe, fiance, who actually was friends with the girl. The fiance went on Twitter last night and actually tweeted me and said, I don't know who you are, but I know this girl in real life, and she is not an escort. This is ridiculous that all her pictures have been used in this manner, and I'm going to contact her. However, we live in Tennessee, and, we don't have, it's nighttime now, so I'm not going to wake her up. She has a 6-year-old kid. I'll let her know in the morning, and hopefully we'll get all this cleared up. So, overnight, all this happens, right? So guess what happens? Mysteriously, all of the accounts and support accounts, everyone who basically was supposed to be part of this network of lies against me, all the escorts and escort accounts that had backed up the fake escort account mysteriously vanished.
This shocks me.
All of the supposed evidence that wasn't real evidence vanished. The Twitter account magically disappears and all the tweets get deleted. Gee, I wonder what was really going on here. And so finally it was revealed this morning. The whole thing was bullshit to begin with, just like I said. The account basically was a Twitter account that wasn't hacked or anything like that, I guess. I don't know. I don't really understand.
Yeah, that's another thing that should be brought up. Hacked like 6 or 7 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, this was a long con type situation. You know what I mean? And that's even if that's the case. Some people, because I don't know, I might save that for my last video, which will be coming up shortly. I'm going to talk about that a little bit because, like, even though the story or the narrative, at least to my understanding, is that the lady that you saw in the pictures, the young lady you saw in the pictures, who isn't Kimberly, by the way, I can't remember what her real name is, but she basically gave up social media when she had a child. Her child's 6. So let's say 7 years ago, she gives up the account. Or she just stopped using it, and all of a sudden it gets hacked. And then it kind of goes, and then, periodically it just throws some shit out there. And no one ever, and none of her friends who would know her on Twitter would think about seeing that. Like, think about that for a minute. Her friend, somebody sees the picture. I know that person. He goes home to his wife or girlfriend and says, "Hey, our friend's pictures are being circulated around, and they're using her Twitter saying that she's an escort." She goes online and tweets Phil, and doesn't actually tweet the actual account. Now, keep in mind, it's obvious that she called. She obviously called her friend and was like, "Hey, did you know that that someone's using your Twitter or using your pictures at least?" You know what I mean? It's obvious that she would have done that, but then she didn't actually try to tweet the actual account to see what that deal was. She tweets Phil. Huh? What? Like, we're missing a step, aren't we? Like, it's obvious that as soon as the guy got home, he told his girlfriend. He tells his girlfriend or wife. She calls her friend and is like, "Hey, this is what the situation is." Does her friend try to log in and see if she could get into her account, realize it's hacked, and then that's why her friend in turn goes back and tweets Phil? Like, and the fact that she removed herself offline, it makes sense. She became a mother. This shit's not important. But for this account to be going off on this silly shit for as long as it did, and no one caught it early, especially people who would be her friends, people who are following her on Twitter. But that's neither here nor there. They may have erased all of that and then just started anew. But still, 7 years was a long time. That was a lot of attention to detail, I should say.
The truth behind it, or what is true or what isn't. But apparently, I guess, it was a complete catfish. All right, it was a 100% catfish. The whole thing was fake from the beginning, which is what I said. These pictures have been stolen from a girl who had a family and basically had a very offline situation. I guess when she was younger, she took a lot of pictures and then decided, well, I have a family now. I'm not going to keep doing this. So she basically stopped using social media. Someone went in and saw that and hacked the account or got control of the picture, whatever it is, and created this whole fake online persona. And by the way, this online persona existed for years. It wasn't just, it just got created now. This online persona existed for like 5-6 years, apparently. Like, it was really long running. Okay?
That's insanity.
So it's pretty ridiculous. Right? At this point, like, it was basically an elaborate thing. Now, do I believe that 6 years ago someone created or hacked or faked a social media account to eventually get to me? No, I don't. I don't believe that at all. What I believe is that maybe this was someone who wanted attention and jumped on a bandwagon or saw an opportunity to exploit.
Wait a second. So you're saying that someone who was watching you close enough that, okay, so you're telling me that someone did all of this, and I'll talk about that as we get further on into this video, but someone did all of this and then sat back and waited to see if a major financial situation was going to come up with you, and then jump in and say, "Oh, he owes all this money. Oh, it's because he congregates with escorts. He dabbles in soiled doves, as people like to call it back in the day. He likes to indulge in one of the oldest practices known to man, and that's why he really owes all this money. And this is the story and then they just congregate this huge story behind it to fit the narrative and to fit into this essential timeline. Because if you give it credit, this whole Kimberly story fit into a timeline pretty well. Was it perfect? No. That's why there was so much doubt. But it fit well enough, and Kimberly was persistent enough to sit there and create a whole new thread on a whole other site. It was entertaining for what it was. And you got to admit, I mean, granted, though, we find out later they were a professional con couple. But the way that every time Phil tried to throw out some information to kind of dispel it, and how they took it and flipped it to their advantage, shows how versatile they were and whatnot. It's still impressive at the end of the day. That's what makes it so entertaining.
I don't know what the long game was. Again, I never received any threats.
What you know about long game, Phil? You don't con people, right? Every time you speak, you tell the truth. You're one of the realest people on YouTube. What you know about long game? Don't do that.
Like, let's blackmail Phil. Maybe what it was is they wanted to have my girlfriend be revealed and then say, well, we're going to keep making shit up and slandering both of you unless you pay us money or something. It probably was. People
will do that for free. And to be honest with you, I don't think this new girlfriend's going to get a lot of slander. I just don't. People are probably going to bombard her with information on, like, hey, this is what you're sleeping next to. Excuse me. This is what you're going to be sleeping next to. But I doubt that anybody's going to attack her. She's not the end game. So I don't think it's not going to be Leanna 2.0. Well, not completely. At least from an online presence. But then again, you just shouldn't put her online at all anyway. But we'll talk about that later.
Something like that, where I was going to get extorted, or I can't understand what else the point would have been of all of.
Yes, Phil, because all you can think about is money. So it's being extorted had to be what the actual end game was. Jesus Christ, man. His obsession with money is just kind of sad. It'd be different if he was just broke. Like straight up broke. But he's not. The man's not destitute. But his love for money is so insatiable. It's just wow.
This at all. Really, honestly, I just don't get it. So, who knows what the long game plan actually was, alright? Overnight, guess what? The whole story fell apart. I've been 100% vindicated.
What? I did nothing wrong. I did everything correct.
And that's it. It's over. The drama surrounding the escort saga is over. And,
It's an arc, Phil, not a saga. Well, no, he's right. Escort saga. My bad. You got me, Phil. You got me.
I can move on to being, myself and just focusing on daily gameplay streams every day. And the thing is, who's to say someone tomorrow might just do the same thing, make another fake media account.
Jesus, you sound scared.
And do something else negative against me, right? There's no way to prevent stuff like that.
Here's the thing. No, we'll hold on to that. I'm going to hold on to that thought.
Anyone could do it at any time, right? But the thing is, I think at this point now, finally people are starting to realize you should stop being such gullible sheep and realizing that you have to vet these stories.
You can't just believe everything you're told on the internet. It's not about the money. It's not. I'm not here to take a paycheck. So the bottom line is, folks, the drama is over.
Now, here's the thing.
Nah, not all. Not
A
at
lot
all.
of people have speculated, what am I going to do today? I'm going to sit here and I'm going to gloat on stream. The entire stream is going to be me making fun of people who believe the story and basically being a real dick to people for weeks. And Phil's going to have his moment in the spotlight now. He's going to be a real asshole and he's going to just basically stick it to everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, here's what I'm going to do.
First off, to be perfectly honest with you, if Phil did that, he'd be an idiot. He'd be an absolute moron. Like I said, the Kimberly saga, or the Kimberly arc, I should say, because like I said, it's supposed to be the escort saga. The Kimberly arc is done, sure. The doxing part, though, is he still has to answer for. At least in some way, shape, or form. He still has to talk about that and how his blatant, I didn't, putting his fingers in his ears, talking about I don't hear nothing, sat there and helped him lose more credibility than most people thought he ever really had. So the drama's not over. Like I said, the whole Kimberly arc doesn't hurt him and whatnot. It was just silly banter and whatnot just to see him get set off. What the end game was, we don't really know. And to be honest, Phil is so used to getting shitted on and then throwing somebody else under the bus to take the hit for him that he could still walk away from the whole escort thing unappeased, essentially. You know what I mean? Unscathed. In a lot of ways, unless someone found out who his girlfriend was and sent all this information to her. But it's the whole doxing situation is what he still needs to work out. You basically cast aside people in your community, the people that are your fans, the people that give you money to save one man. And in turn, you ended up losing him anyway, Phil. You know what I mean? The dildos and all that alleged to the side, you ended up losing him anyway, and you lost two other people. Then allegedly you pissed off a fourth member who doesn't like you and who was hanging around either way. So now you got fucked all over with that. You know what I mean? And how are you gonna make amends there? You know what I'm saying? It's my understanding that Brightside is basically banned off Twitch indefinitely. And then Jezel and then, Amityville, both of them bounced during this whole doxing situation because they saw that you weren't going to do anything and whatnot, and you were willing to throw everybody to the wolves. And then KG, you tossed him under the bus. When, in truth, at least in some manner, he was coordinating with Vidal to sit there and try to bring this whole escort situation to light, that it was just a troll. So what'd he get tossed under the bus for? I'm just saying. DSP News.
I'm going to do the complete opposite of what you expect.
Huh?
Alright? Based on all the stuff that I've seen happen over the last month, right? What I'd like to do, and you're not going to believe this. Well, at least I can't believe this. Ladies and gentlemen, what I would like to do is extend an olive branch. Okay? What does that mean? It means I understand that there's a group of people out there who are not the people who used to exist, whose purpose was to actually hurt me. Let me repeat that. I know that the group of people who used to actively try to hurt me all the time, through things like DDoS attacks, doxing, swatting, they're gone. Thank God they're gone, but they're gone. All right? I know that. And I'm happy about that. I'm happy about the fact that I don't have to worry about what's the next insanely crazy fucking thing that's going to happen to me on a daily basis, because those people were destroyed.
Viking getting destroyed. Lol.
They were systematically torn apart from the inside and exposed for what they really were. For years, they said that they were just people trying to be critical of me, when in reality, it was later on proven they were mentally ill. They were actually trying to fuck and hurt me and hurt my life and hurt, people with me and around me. And
Jesus Christ, Phil. All right.
And,
all right, whatever.
They were exposed for what they were, and they were destroyed.
Destroyed? Are they dead? Phil, no. Just stop now. Stop while you can. Okay? It is interesting how, granted, when you think of this whole situation with the whole Kimberly arc, I can see why they would think it's Freddie Boy. You know what I mean? For sure. Obviously, it was proven that it wasn't, but well, yeah, I would say it was been proven that it wasn't. But I can see why people would think it was Fred. With that being said, he's not dead. He's not. He's on hiatus. He's on vacation. Some people believe he's not done. You know what I mean? He's certainly. I would say honestly that he's not done. So for you to sit there and run around and say that they're destroyed and whatnot, you could have just said there was a group out there who tried to hurt me. They're gone now, and whatnot. So I know that everybody else is yada yada. But for you to sit there and go on this spiel talking about they're destroyed, this, that, and the third, all you're doing is antagonizing the situation. You're giving him a reason to come back if he decides to. I mean, what's the point of that? To say that they're destroyed, like, you know what I mean? Like, seriously, that's the word. That's the wording we decided to go with. Destroyed. You could have just said disband. Could have said disavowed. You know what I mean? Something along those lines. But to say that they are destroyed is going a bit too far. But whatever.
All right? I don't believe that the people today who seek to basically follow me and find out the drama about me and all that.
Oh, you mean those mentally ill people that need to be thrown into the white coats? Right? You mean those guys? Okay.
I don't actively think that they actually want to hurt me, per se.
I just think that they're a very curious group of individuals who find me fascinating for whatever reason. Some would call it obsession.
What?
Some would call it something else. I don't know. All right?
Wow.
Here's the deal. All right? I think that that group of people actually are just as happy.
Snow Brunell's right though. He is the first and only of his species of pig roach. So I suppose we as scientists need to go ahead and continue our continuing study and observing this particular species. Even though, and I've pointed this out before, there are some very few actually parallels between him and Spoonie. Spoonie's still better in the end. He's much better in the end. I just hope he gets himself together. But we'll talk about that later on.
Happy that this whole thing has been exposed for what it is, and just as fascinated, because really in reality they just want.
We all miss Kim, especially Pig Roach. He's gonna miss those intense strap-on sessions. God damn it, Storpinell, you're great.
Wanted to get to the bottom of it. It wasn't that they actively wanted to propagate that story no matter what, but they just looked at it and they said, man, a 6-year-old social media account, what are the chances that that could be fake, And they were duped. All right? I think that's kind of what I'm getting.
He makes it sound like we had money on the line with this. Like, people understood from Jump Street. People in my own comment section said they thought that this was a troll. But it was funny. Like, it was funny. And that's how Phil should have treated it. But, Phil.
Kind of what I'm seeing, all right? Here's what I want to do. Instead of having everything blow up and be nasty and be negative and have everyone at each other's throats all the time, which I don't want. I just want
to play games and have fun and make a living doing it. Phil's a beggar.
To be a situation where, listen, I realize I'm not an infallible human. I make mistakes all the time. I do stupid shit all the time, right? I have little intricacies and daily tics and things that people make fun of on a daily basis. I get that. You know, I'm a public persona, doing things.
Actually, fuck you on that, because I don't think those are tics. I used to wonder what they were. A lot of people used to think they're tics too, but they're not. I don't think those are tics. I think those are just dirty little habits that he has that he just doesn't want to get rid of. All that extra belt, the snorting is definitely some type of nasal issue, but it's not chronic nasal drip and whatnot. It comes down to the fact that, hey, just like Argent said, clean your goddamn office, get an air defibrillator, or get some type of air filtration system in there and whatnot. Clean up regularly, and then go out and get some fresh air. Open up your capillaries a little bit and get that squared away. I think it's just this disgusting little habit that he has that he just keeps doing because he's just used to doing it, and he just never stopped and whatnot. The belching, all the rest of that, it just shows that you're disgusting. That's it. The other little tics that he might be talking about are some of the things that people point out, myself included, when he lies, and some of the things that he does when he's lying. Nice way to try to cover that. And also, thank you for proving that you watch Detractor videos. You're not paying attention just to their views, but you're also paying a lot of attention to some of the details that they point out about you. Good work on that, Phil. Nice exposing there.
In public every day, you know, people are going to pick up on things and make fun of me for them. I'm okay with that.
Unbelievable.
I'm okay if you say I'm a bad gamer. I'm okay if you say I'm bad with money. I don't care if you say any of that. I don't give a fuck. The bottom line is that's all fun and games and just things to be funny.
Wait a second. Are you saying that you need detractors? If you're willing to let that go and not telling us to stop, it means that you need us. You understand that, you know what I'm saying, these people propagate this stuff about me, but it's not really that hurtful to me, and I kind of need it because I need the attention, and I need the attention because that'll draw out sympathy. What? I think I'm about to figure you out in a minute. Well, not really. I've already got you figured out, but even still. Actually, that's not true. You learn something new every day.
Make fun of someone on the internet, all right? The difference here between that and a systematic, you know, slander campaign is that the little funny things every day, they're funny.
I am proud of this.
All right? And everyone laughs or whatever. Okay, we move on. But when you start doing systematic, nasty shit that could fully ruin my reputation, it could ruin my income, it could ruin my life, when things happen like swatting and physical threats against me that have happened.
That has nothing to do with the Kimberly situation, though.
All right.
Well, maybe.
Right? That's when it goes too far. And what I want to do is extend an olive branch to the people out there who are only in this to basically just have a good jollies, a few laughs every day. I understand you and I get you.
I'm not saying I'm like you, because I'm not the kind of person who follows someone on the internet just because you don't like them and you want to make fun of them. But I understand there are some people who are like that, all right? What I want to say is basically call a truce and say, I don't want to be talking about this shit every day. I don't want to be bothered with this shit every day.
All right, I don't. I just want to do my thing. I want to stream. I want to have fun with games. I want to celebrate the fact that here I am in 2018. I'm still here. My Twitch channel is growing. Everything's going good. That's what I want to focus on. All right? I don't want to be constantly having to worry about what's the next thing that's going to happen to me or my girlfriend or whatever, and literally live in fear because we got these nasty people doing these insane campaigns against me, 6-year faked fucking social media accounts and shit, right? So, here's what I want to do. I want to call a truce and say, listen, I basically just won't mention the nonsense, all right, as long as it's kept to a reasonable amount where it's not personal attacks and slander against me, all right? It's okay to say I'm bad at games. It's okay to say I'm fat. It's okay to say this and that. You know, I don't care about that shit. But when I wake up one morning,
and I get called a pedophile, and I get called a thief, as we know, everyone out there who's ever attacked me or said something negative about me is 100% true, and it's all just completely legitimate stuff, and it's because these people are such creative and positive.
I mean, if you stopped acting like that, people would stop calling you that, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? It is kind of, your behavior is kind of shady. So, you can see why people call you out on that stuff. Just saying. Act like a decent human being and people will treat you like one.
people that they put this stuff onto YouTube, right? And I get called, someone who uses escorts and gets fucked in the ass with dildos and doesn't pay the escorts. That stuff can hurt me. Anal sex. Oh shit, I checked anal sex for me. And then the girl comes out with this giant King Kong strap on. All right, baby, you approved it. Let's do it. Uh-oh.
Wow.
Wait, I meant for you. Oh! What a complete idiot.
All right? And the bottom line is, I'm done with it. Like, when I wake up and I find out that people are get doxxed because there was this big thing that happened where because of the slander campaign, people attacked each other and everything, I can't deal with this shit anymore. Seriously, I'm too old for this shit. I feel like Danny fucking Glover in Lethal Weapon. I'm too old for this shit. I got other shit to do. I got more important shit to deal with than this bullshit every fucking day. I'm seriously done with it. And for, on behalf of myself and all of my fans and viewers, we're done. We don't want to be part of this shit. All right? You can have your jollies in your own part of the internet. All right? I don't care. Do what you want. Meeks.
Yeah, so basically you're saying that we have permission, that we have your permission, which doesn't mean shit either way. But that doxing situation has nothing to do with the detractors. That was caused by your boy. Your boys went over there and decided to shit it up and start threatening people's lives, their families, their lives, their families. Why? I mean, come on, dude. We're threatening wife and kids. The dog? The fuck? That has nothing to do with us, though. That's on your side of the fence. That's over there on that's over there at your playground. You know what I'm saying? Not even your playground, dude. Like, you guys are over there on the swing set, and everybody's chilling over here with the sandbox. You're the one who screwed that up. You know what I mean? You can't sit there and be like, oh, this whole... Now, granted, it's fair to say that, and at least it's one of my theories, that Brightside may have done all of this to try to expose the whole escort situation. He did it in a poor way, but it's possible that that's what his end game was. At the end of the day, no one told him to go over there and start threatening people to try to try to dissect how this shit was going to work out. What he did helped in some way, shape, or form. It definitely brought the attention around and whatnot, but at what cost? I don't even think, that means I'd have to delve into Brightside's brain, and that right there is just ridiculous in itself, especially the way he feels about kids. But, or at least allegedly. With that whole situation in itself, I'm sure he didn't think it was going to spiral out of control. Or maybe he thought it was. Either way, it still falls, if not on you, Phil, it definitely falls on your people in your camp. So, it is what it is. You think this situation, but you think these extra situations aren't going to happen? You think these special reports aren't going to happen? You think the next arc, or the next saga in the Detractor Ball Super is just going to go away? No. People, obviously, the next one might not be as elaborate as this one was, but it's going to happen again. It happens to you almost every year, at least, a couple times a year. Something happens. You can go back and watch Secret Life of DSP. They point out a lot of that stuff. At least a few times a year it happens. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But it's how you react to it is what makes it what it is. So really, you need to look at yourself before anybody else.
Slanderous videos about me. Ooh. Big fucking deal, right? Guess what? I've been on the internet for 10 years.
If that's the case, then why are you looking at what their views are then? Like, why are you doing that? Especially when these detractor channels, they're growing each and every day. Like I said, 2017 was a good year for a lot of people. 2018 is shaping up to be even better. You know what I mean? And then, well, I'll talk about that in the next video, but or in the next part of this video, I should say. But what's gonna come next? What's gonna come next is gonna bring so much exposure. If you play your cards right, some of those people might stick around. But if you act like what you normally do, like an ass, and then make an ass out of yourself, you're just gonna invite a whole new group of people to make more videos about you. Like I said, the pool is this isn't even a pool. You know what I'm saying? We got ourselves our own little private ocean here, our private beach essentially, and we're just inviting more people to come by. And by you acting the way you're acting is just going to ship more people to us, which is fine because the place is still wide fucking open. Like I said, on my feed, for example, I've seen new Detractor channels that I've never even seen before. And I enjoy watching them. Actually, I need to just go ahead and start spotlighting some of them too. And whatnot. That'd be kind of cool. Because, like I said, you have a whole new... If you think about it, there's just like a whole new generation of Detractors coming out. And whatnot. And so, brand new points of view, brand new ways of delivering, all of this. And in turn, it's going to help you. Because it's very obvious that you need us. Because if that was the case, you'd be like, hey, guys, just stop making videos about me. Stop all these elaborate plans. Can we just please stop it all? You're not asking for that. Which would be kind of useless anyway, because no one's going to stop. So, let's continue.
There's people have been making slanderous videos for about 6. Longer than I've been on the internet without having slander. I've had slander, and I'm still here. I don't care about that shit anymore, alright? But what I don't...
You can't go anywhere.
I don't want these crazy personal attacks, insane things going on with no evidence, and anyone at any time can just accuse me of anything, and now all of a sudden, everything's negatively affected. I can't have that. I just can't. Alright?
You should have stopped that last year. You should have stopped that the year before. Why are you waiting until now, Phil?
So here's the deal. When I extend this olive branch, what I'm basically saying is, a lot of these people who spend a lot of time focused on me have a lot of means.
Well, obviously, if you run into me, you're going to be in trouble. Wow.
And obviously a lot of free time to vet stories like this. Okay? What I'd like to say is, if things in the future happen like this, alright, and there's a weird fucking story, weird shit going on, come to me.
Reed! Oh my god!
What the fuck? Whoa! Whoa! I'm serious. Come to me. Talk to me about it.
Are you a functional retard? I have to ask.
Exactly.
I will speak with you about it, and we'll get I would have told you behind the scenes a million times what was going on with me, right? I could have explained to you why I can't provide evidence of it.
Yeah, Snowburnell's right. Are you trying to buy people's silence now? Is that what we've come down to? Like, you really don't want to fight no more? Now you want to negotiate? Oh boy. This isn't... What? No.
That I actually owe taxes.
What?
I would have explained all of this. The thing is, my viewers don't give a fuck about it. They just want me to play games. And I'm not going to sit here every day, wasting my fucking time talking about it when people want to see gameplay streams. Okay? But it's that simple. It's like, I would rather have all of this dealt with and behind the scenes, alright? And have people actually vet the bullshit than have to worry about every day what's the next bullshit, what's the next story, what's the next slander. Okay? So, as of right now, I'm throwing it out there. I don't want any more drama and bullshit. I want my viewers to feel safe.
Dramatic cloud of shit. I don't care about these people.
Nope.
And not have to feel like they're going to get thrown into the line of fire.
Which they already did.
Or anything happening that has nothing to do with any of us. This whole escort situation, I had nothing to do with. They had nothing to do with. And there were a few people who absolutely may have gotten outside of the realm of what should have been done. And I fully agree that no one should ever be attacked. No one should be threatened. No one should be doxxed. On any side. My side, yours, anyone's. Okay?
Wait a second. Aren't you still denying, though, that Brightside did that because there's no evidence? So, if there's no evidence, then why'd you bring any of that up? I mean, you had no choice but to admit that someone on your forum got doxxed, but you said Brightside wasn't the one who initiated that. Or you have no proof of it, I should say. I'm sorry, we don't have any proof of that, so you can't go off of that. You really have to kind of stay cemented in whatever you're going to choose, Phil. This isn't very good.
It just should not ever happen. And I don't want that shit to happen ever again. I mean, we can all agree to coexist, whether you like me or you hate me, and not have to worry about actually getting hurt in real life, okay? Yeah, I'm a gamer!
But I just find it so hilarious that people still fall for this shit.
So let's do it. I'm curious. Obviously, I'm willing. And I'm sure a lot of people will say, he's full of shit, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. This is me, honestly, kind of opening up, being very honest, and just saying, I'm done with the drama. I don't want it anymore. I'm so done with it. Seriously. And you know what? By the way, like I'm saying, if I fuck up, if I have another accident on stream.
Oh! Fabbing on stream.
You have every right to make fun of me. You have every right to fucking rip me a new asshole. That's different from this escort situation that was 100% fake from the get-go, all right? I would rather have it that there's a group of people who love making fun of me but want to see me still exist so they can keep making fun of me.
So basically what you're saying is you want a group of people that make fun of you as long as it brings the type of attention to you, so you can basically, what? So you can propagate sympathy off of that. Essentially what you're trying to say is, I'm going to start using the detractor community to my benefit. What is this? Is this going to be self-made? This is how you don't play all over again? It's not going to work like that, Phil. It's not going to work like that at all. And I might be reaching when I say that, but if that's what you really think your end game's going to be, no, that's not the way this is going to work.
Than now I get completely destroyed and everything ends because of a false story completely slanders me and now no one wants to watch my stuff anymore. All right? That's the attitude I'm taking.
I'm calling a truce. What? What? What the fuck? Are you fucking serious? What? What? What the fuck? I slap you with my e-penis. I don't want anyone attacking anyone.
And I would, like I said, like to open a dialogue in the future.
I'm good at lying.
If shit happens like this again, okay? And, anything,
Yeah, I agree with Snort Brunel. We'll see. But the thing is, though, is you want to talk about opening up a dialogue. Let's be honest. People like Almighty Tevin was trying to do that a long time ago. He was trying to give you good advice. He tried to reach out to you through the usual means. When going under your comment section, you would just erase it. Him going to your streams, you would just have him banned. He tried using, hotmail.com. You would just avoid emails, which we know you're doing. So now you want to open up a dialogue, though? And he did that years ago. People like Almighty Tevin, SOK, a lot of those guys propagated years ago and essentially prophesized that something like this was going to happen. You could have opened up that dialogue back then and done it, but you were too arrogant. You thought you had too much control, you thought you had way too much power, and you had too many attack dogs who were willing to go at a whim. Now, excuse me, you're losing, you lost 4 of them out of the pack, as well as whales. You lost 3 whales, too. Now you've lost the confidence of the very people in your community. People don't even want to touch the forums. The ones that are up there are just brave or very ignorant. So you have nothing there. Congratulations on making your little 500 subs on Twitch, but then let's see how you do next month, though. You've lost way more than what you're realizing, and you think this truce is going to help, but it's not. Because now, I've said, as well as other people have said, that you need the detractors. Now you need us more than ever because your community is falling apart, and at the end of the day, that's on you. When this whole Doctor situation happened, you should have called the cease and desist then. You should have just went ahead and looked at the demand and be like, okay, Brightside, I'm going to have to denounce you. And then just let him make a brand new sock account and then go from there. But you didn't want to do that. This is machinima all over again. Shut the fuck up, Phil. We'll get to you when we get to you because we don't have any information. Stop, you know what I'm saying? Stop badgering us. Oh, well, you don't let people talk to you in certain type of ways like that, and I'm an adult, and I'm going to do what I want. And then look at it, and now look at what you're doing. It's back to this shit all over again, man.
Opens up, and there's a possibility where it could be a big situation. I would rather personally deal with it behind the scenes and get information cleared up and everything, rather than have blow up like this did. Because at this point, I'm done with it. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here every day and defend myself. And obviously, the fact is, if I ignore it,
people don't believe me anymore, and that's the problem. Is
people don't believe you now.
I ignore it, and I got people accusing me who are fans of mine, saying they think that it might be true, and I'm like, are you crazy?
10 years. 10 fucking years. Okay? I've been on the internet putting myself forward publicly. 10 years I've shared my life experiences with everyone. Alright? 10 years. Free content on a daily basis. You would think that would at least earn me some kind of clout.
Dramatic cloud of shit.
And of course there's some people that would say, yeah, Phil, but over those years, this happened, and this happened, and this happened. Okay, but the bottom line is after 10 years, I'm still here. I'm still one of the most honest fucking guys on the internet.
So wait a second. So you're gonna gloss over all the things that you did wrong and stand on your little soapbox talking about I've been here for 10 years? So don't worry about all the lies and all the fucking false promises and everything else that I've done over those 10 years. I've been here for 10 years. And that right there is enough to solidify me. Fuck out of here.
I'm good at lying.
Like, you know a lot about me. You know, obviously, a lot about my life because I'm here on stream a lot. You know what I'm doing all fucking day. All right? And, you would have think that that would at least bought me some kind of benefit of the doubt.
Because you put yourself out there publicly, that should what? That's supposed to buy you exoneration? No. No one told you to do that. You did that on your own. And there's plenty of people who put themselves out there on a daily basis and then get exposed later. There are people out here who that were faking disabilities and then they end up getting caught up. They put themselves out there publicly, so you should support them. Oh, but now you found out that I was in this wheelchair, or I've been propagating, I've been in this wheelchair for 6 years, and in truth I can walk just fine. Oh, but gloss over that. I've been here for 6 years. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't work that way.
You know, in some degree with some people. And it did. Because I did have, like I said, in December, I had a tremendous amount of support from my viewers and fans who came out to help me with this tax situation. And I appreciate that. But moving forward, I don't want every single time that there's a situation where maybe there's something that's, you know, I need help or whatever, someone's got to spin it into some completely fabricated bullshit story.
It's a scam. Greed is massively strong. I have no fucking self-control.
Nope.
Shout outs.
Shout outs.
Big Boy Dumper did a 50-bit cheer and says, Phil, I don't keep up with the drama. However, I checked your Twitter feed today. There's photos of someone. Did these fucktards actually take distance photos of you in real life with a zoom lens? Please tell me that isn't real. Who would do that?
Yes. This one here. May God have mercy on her. Yes.
I can confirm that's pretty much real. That looks like me walking around,
But yet you didn't say anything about it, you know, earlier on when that was circulating. You were just like, oh, I don't know what you guys are talking about. Oh, I don't get it. Oh, they're photoshopping photos. Now all of a sudden you admit that it's real. Okay.
my local mall. I don't know when the picture was taken, but that's me. So yeah, some creeper took that picture. If you can believe it, some fucking creeper apparently took that picture. Now, to me, do I think it's a big deal? No. Because the thing is, listen, people take pictures of celebrities all the time. Do I see myself as a celebrity? Fuck no. I've said it a million times. I'd be like the Z-list celebrities, right? I just don't get, for me, the reason that that's creepy to me a little bit is why wouldn't that person have introduced themselves and gotten a real picture? Like, I'm a kind of person, if you recognize me, hey, Phil, you Dark Side Phil? Yes. Hey, can I get a picture? Sure.
I know you're lying.
Yeah, exactly. That's a blatant lie. You would be scared to death if somebody ran up on you with that. You know what I mean? You'd be scared to death because you would automatically assume that that person is a detractor. You automatically would assume it. You know what I'm saying? And then you probably just go ahead and run away. Or your girlfriend or whoever it was you were holding hands with is like, why is your hands getting sweatier all of a sudden? Let's be honest.
Can I get an autograph? Sure. I've always been under the impression I'll give an autograph or a picture to anyone. I don't care. Now, obviously, if it gets to the point where
Well, you don't go anywhere, so how would you have done any of that anyway?
every 5 seconds I'm being bothered by it, that's different. But I'm not that popular. So I don't have to worry about that. Everyone who's ever recognized me since I moved to Washington, I've been very gracious to. So
You don't go nowhere. Or at least not anymore.
why someone would take it upon themselves to do that, take a picture like that, rather than actually just like walk up and ask for a real selfie or a picture or whatever, I have no idea. But yeah, that was me, if you can believe it. Shout out to Raisin Bread is Tasty, who did a 100-bit cheer and says, Phil, sorry about...
And here's the thing, though, too. If they really were sure it was you, they would have taken a picture from you. They would have taken a picture of you from a different angle. You know what I mean? It looks like someone was like, hey, is that... Oh, shit, is that TSP? Oh, shit, is that TSP? Yo, I gotta get a shot of this. And whatnot. And they caught you, obviously, way too late. Unless you planned that. I'm not saying that you did, but just saying.
all that you had to go through in these past couple of months. It's an amazing that people would go as far as identity theft to slander you and this woman who had nothing to do with you. Some people are just fucked up. You're right. They are. There's really no other explanation for it. Like I said, I don't know what the long-form plan was for this person. Was it that they were going to eventually try to extort me and say, look at the clout we got? I can tell you this. I actually know this for a fact. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the truth, the God's honest truth. This person was planning to go on Drama Alert. They were going to try to go on the Keemstar show, slandering me on the Keemstar show, saying that this was all true, presenting all this evidence that wasn't evidence, and saying all this publicly on his show to try to hurt me. I know that for a fact.
And how do you know that? Like, what proof do you have? I need some paperwork for this. I need some receipts. I really do.
So, luckily, I mean, I don't know if they ever really did contact Keemstar or not, but I am.
And Keemstar's not stupid. I don't think Keemstar is staying up to date with what you're doing, but I'm sure, like most people, he may have a couple of people out there that are just keeping an eye on you just to be on the safe side, just in case something juicy comes up. But even Keemstar would have been able to see through that. It might have been entertaining, and if it dragged on for maybe a few more weeks, maybe Keemstar might be like, all right, let's bring her on. Because, I mean, let's be honest, Keemstar has brought some rather interesting people on at one time or another. So maybe he would have made that situation happen just for the amusement of it. But I doubt he would dedicate a whole video to it. You know what I mean? I doubt. Who knows?
Where that Keem does actually vet his stories, and at least tries to vet them a lot better now, because he's gotten in trouble in the past for stories that weren't properly vetted, and he put stuff on his show that ended up not being true, and then he had to go eat crow afterward. So, thank God it didn't get that far. Imagine if it got so
At least he was man enough to do it. How many times have you said you're sorry for shit?
far that would have been disastrous, right? So, thank God.
What pasta do you prefer? I prefer a penne.
Alright, guys. So, that was the genius of Snorpernell. We're going to go into Mr. Stuff's video right now. DSP Gaming, end of the Escort Saga, and offering a truce. And, we're going to dissect this a little more. And, hopefully we can pull something out of this. And, hopefully it doesn't drag on too long. See you guys in just a second. Alright, here we go.
Well, I guess we'll get to the matter at hand, folks. All right? Let's do it. Let's just get it out of the way. All right? So for those of you who are not aware, who are out of the loop, who haven't been paying attention to social media, good for you. You probably have a life. And you don't, and you don't just sit on the internet staring at social media all day. Good for you, okay? So here's what's going on. Ever since last year, it was actually on Thanksgiving, 2017, I did a Ask the King. No, it was actually a podcast, Hate Live podcast. And I announced to the world my issue that was bothering me for months and months was that I had back taxes that I owed, all right, because I had a tax attorney in Connecticut who screwed me over, who didn't do his job, and didn't advise me that I owed business and occupation tax for doing what I do for a living in the state of Washington. So I was going to owe thousands and thousands of dollars of back taxes because of this asshole. And I was going to owe a new business and occupation tax for the year of 2017. Problem being, I didn't know about any of this, and I didn't have any money to pay it. All right? And
Now, let's address that for a minute. So, like I said, he left one state to avoid taxes. Let's try to put it in perspective. He left one state to try to leave. He left one state, Connecticut, to try to but he left one state to avoid taxes. Runs over to another state because it was personal income tax is what he wanted to avoid in Connecticut. He bounces from there, goes to Washington and whatnot, and is basically like, okay, I don't have to worry about that here. I just have to pay. He just has to pay his regular federal tax, and he's good to go. At least that's what he thought. He didn't realize. I think he knew. I personally still believe that he knew there was a business tax in Seattle. I think what he was hoping for is that his business, being that it was online based, and not just that it's online based, because plenty of online based businesses would have to pay that tax. But I think he was banking on the fact that because it's YouTube and because of some of the intricacies and stuff that is propagated with it, it would be enough of a loophole to where he could go there and not have to pay a business tax. I think he knew about it from the hop, and it just came and it caught up to him. Now, someone basically started sending him business brochures for small businesses and stuff like that, which ended up putting him on the radar of the actual state itself, the state business bureau. And then that's how they came after his ass. That's essentially what happened. Okay? But in truth, Phil was basically participating in tax evasion. That's basically what happened. Because how is it that Leanna was registered and he wasn't? And she wasn't making nearly as much money as he was. Not even close. So what happened? Like, why did you feel that you were pulling in, up almost six figures? She wasn't. Not even close. But yet you thought you were exempt in some way, shape, or form? And then who's to say what he was telling the tax guy? You know what I mean? He's only giving him what he's giving him. And that's it. But are you telling me that someone who has 30 years of experience wouldn't have known, oh, well, you know what? Here, maybe I should just take just 5 minutes to actually look and see how Seattle or how Washington State has things set up. Let me do that. Let me try to be diligent. Because remember, this his tax attorney, but really it was just the guy who prepared his taxes. Or his accountant, or whatever you want to call it. He's a family friend of his. And has been a family friend of his family's for a long ass time. So why would he screw all of that? Why would he screw his friends over by screwing their child over on taxes? Why does that make any sense? And that's why people have been calling him out on that ever since. That's why people doubt that there's even a tax issue. You know what I mean? And if there is, it may not even be back taxes. Or at least not for a business, I should say. He's somewhere down the line, I personally think all those tax write-offs that he was doing, I was going to save this for my end of tax video, but I'll throw some of it out there. I think all of those write-offs, I think that shit came back to bite him. Because he was trying to write off everything. He writes off that room as office space. He writes off everything. And I think some of it caught up to him. I think that's what really happened. I think some of that caught up to him, and that's why he's in the situation he is. I was actually saving that for my part 3 of my tax video, but I'll throw that out there now. I'll explain it further later on.
Issue is that there's a big lump sum for the year 2017 that is due at the end of January. Also, I had to hire a new tax attorney here in the state of Washington in order to take care of all this and deal with the tax people for me, and make sure that everything was correct, and all that. And I had to pay for that. I didn't have money for that because, again, I wasn't prepared for this all to hit me all at once like it did. And basically, I needed help. I needed help by the end of the year in order to raise enough funds in order to save my butt. Because if I didn't raise enough money to at least take care of this money that was going to be due at the end of January and whatever this tax attorney was going to bill me for their services, I had no way to pay it. And I was going to end up probably having to sell my house. All right. So I revealed all this in late November. And then over the month of December, people were incredibly supportive of me. They said, this is ridiculous that Phil would go through this. We're going to help him out. And people were incredibly nice on stream.
And that's another thing, too, that he talks about. I would have had to sell my house. How about you sell the condo first? Like, because keep in mind, the condo is he's been paying on that way longer, much longer than he's been paying on the house. So why not just sell the condo? It is an asset. It is something that if they were going to come for him, they would probably look at. Well, it would be in the dossier. Oh, well, he has a condo over here too. You could more than likely negotiate for them to take that before they even take the house. But then again, the house is in the state, so there you go.
He was cheering, subbing, tipping. I had a few special holiday events. We had a fundraiser at the end of the month. And the good news, folks, is during all this time, everything went well. And I raised enough funds. And, at least for the short term, meaning for this issue in January, we're in the clear. I raised enough money to pay the taxes. I should have enough money to pay the tax attorney. And as long as things hopefully keep going well the way they are on Twitch, and hopefully things turn around on YouTube, which is a big issue now because I'm making so much less on YouTube now because of the bullshit going on over there.
At the end of the day, though, $47,000 is still $46,000 or $47,000 a year, regardless of how you look at it. It's still good money. That's still real good money, and that's just from one source. He still has Twitch, and he still has Teespring, and he still has Patreon. Shit, you know what I mean? So he still has options. He still has options. And you telling me that you only owed? Because let's say, ladies and gentlemen, I can't actually even tell you. He made somewhere between $10,000 and $12,000 in December, in that begathon, as people like to call it, in that campaign. You know what I mean? like his version of Gout Games. If you'd like to go with Dragon Ball, with a Dragon Ball reference, he made like $10,000 or $12,000. He may have owed $2,000 in whatever back taxes or whatever the situation was. He said he used the rest of the money to actually pay for these attorneys, to pay the back, to pay for this year's taxes, to pay for any interest that he accumulated. He said something else too, which is funny because a lot of that stuff can be waived, but we'll talk about that in another video. But a lot of that stuff could have probably been waived off, given the circumstances. We'll have to wait and see. But he may have walked away with like 10 G's, with 10 stacks, 10 racks. And he may have only had to pay out, at least directly to the taxes, 2. With everything else, maybe 5 altogether. So he still walked away with roughly 5,000 to 7,000. Roughly. I don't have direct figures in front of me. So he pocketed a good part of that money. And that's if there even was a tax situation. But he pocketed a good share of that money, which will cover his mortgages for at least 2 more months. Maybe 3, but at least 2. Something just doesn't seem right about it. It just doesn't seem right at all.
But that's besides the point. That hopefully I'll be good. Now, I don't know, and I even told everyone up front, I don't know what's going to happen come time for federal taxes in April, because my taxes are all going to change. There's new tax.
And that's another thing, too. And as I had said earlier on in this video about the whole, Phil, what do you know about the long con? This tax situation is his long con. He's going to milk this throughout 2018. Maybe even throughout 2019. He has a point of reference to do so. But there's something else that no one else is pointing out, and I'm not going to say I'm the only one who's done it. I'm the only one who I think that's pointed it out since the beginning, is his health situation. He hasn't said anything about that yet, but that's still there too. Now, granted, it's fair to say that we haven't seen any DSP trizits. Shouts out to Almighty Tevin. He had said in a video last month that because there has been a lack of DSP trizits, he thought that maybe Phil would come out about his health situation, because since he's not trying all this extra food and whatever, it would help boast the credibility of his health situation. But then Phil ends up coming out later on and saying that the only reason why he hasn't been doing any DSP trizits, which is coincidentally right after Almighty Tevin did his video, is because there hasn't been anything he's wanted to try. But the health situation's still there. This ailment that he has that he doesn't want to disclose. So that's still there too. That's part of the con. So keep in mind on that, ladies and gentlemen. You have the tax situation, which he can stretch out for a year, maybe 2. He has this supposed ailment that he doesn't want to talk about. And then the girlfriend. Now, here's the thing. If the girlfriend thing flops, if for whatever reason, she said that it's not going to work, or we're not going to move right now, or whatever the case may be, he can draw sympathy off that. That's going to be that's short money. That right there is going to be short money, but it's still money. The girlfriend and this tax situation are the long cons. I'm calling it right now, because he can propagate that for a year, maybe even 2, at least off the taxes. For sure. For sure he can do that. And then the health situation, he can play on that until there's definitive proof that he's lying about it. So there you go. And these are things, and like I said, that's why that doxing arc, he should have handled that right away. Right away he should have handled that. Because now he's lost credibility. And because he's lost credibility, because he let people get hurt while he sat there and had his finger in his ears, now when those 2 situations are coming up, he has to hope that he's going to bring in new piggy banks to help. He's going to have to make more Cell Juniors, because if not, he's screwed. Because now he's going to actually have to fight it out himself. And Phil's going to go back and be like, I've been online too long. I've been out of the workforce too long. I can't get a job. And he doesn't have anything in retirement. He's fucked all the way around because he wasn't man enough to step up with this doxing situation. Which in turn, before that, is to tell them to stop with this threatening shit. He screwed himself, and he just doesn't realize it yet. Let's continue. DSP News.
Laws coming into effect thanks to the Republicans in our government. They voted in a new tax law. And plus, because you guys were so supportive at the end of 2017, my income went up, which means I probably owe more on my taxes than I paid. So I'm going to owe more money come April. I don't know what's going to happen with that, all right? So we'll know what's really going to go on with that once we reach more around March, April, and I work with my new tax attorney to figure out my federal stuff, all right? But that being said, for the short term, everything is good. And because things were so positive, all right, first of all, my girlfriend came and visited me in early December. We had a big Christmas celebration together, which was great. She helped me put up my Christmas tree, decorate, and everything. I didn't want to share pictures of her publicly on the internet because I didn't want her identity to get out and then people harass the shit out of her, which is what happens with everyone who gets involved with me. I didn't want that to happen, all right?
I wouldn't say everybody who gets involved with you, because, that doesn't happen to former friends and associates per se. I mean, some of the people that are your mods and stuff like that, yeah, they probably get a lot of shit. I don't know about these people who contribute to your chat and then all of a sudden they're getting messages being like, why would you give Phil money? I need to see receipts on that. That just doesn't even sound right, to be honest with you, but that's neither here nor there. But let's be honest, Phil, everybody that you ever get associated with, they fall. They always do. It's like clockwork. And it's probably one of the most destructive things about you. You're toxic waste. It's bad enough that you're already a waste, but you're toxic too. Why am I toxic? You're everybody you touch, everybody who comes near you is affected negatively. No one ever walks away from you unscathed. Whether a business, whether anything. Everybody who's associated with you in some way, shape, or form, you shit it up. And that's probably why that's why you never really got into the sponsorship game. Because as soon as that contract is over and they don't renew you for whatever reason, or if they just break the contract with you altogether, you're just gonna go behind their back and just shit on them anyway. And nobody needs that. That's why Machinima got rid of you. You know what I mean? Curse will do if Curse ever, there's no reason for Curse to get rid of you, but if you ever went on a slanderous campaign with that, they'll do it. And it's funny too, because he never shits on Curse at all. He doesn't shit on Curse at all. He shits on YouTube, but not Curse whatsoever. It's funny, maybe if he had taken that same approach with Machinima, and instead of shitting on Machinima, just keep sucking them off, and just went at YouTube, it might have been different. But he's not smart enough to do that. And he's trying to learn some new tricks. The sad thing is it's a little too late. You're a little too old, you've been a little bit too out of touch and whatnot, and now you're trying to learn new things, and it's just kind of too late for you in a way. Because you're never too old to learn anything. But what Phil is trying to propagate is it's coming a little too late. Just a little bit. You know what I mean? Without completely deconstructing DSP gaming and building it back up, I mean, he would have to completely do a complete 360. And he can't do it. He's too lazy. It's not, even with that, I wouldn't even say he's too old for that. He's just too lazy. In truth. So that's really what it comes down to. So I might have to correct myself. It may not be necessarily that he's too old. It's just he's just too damn lazy. He's not willing to do it. It's too much work. And if someone else can't do it for him, then he's just not going to do it.
So I purposely protected her identity, took certain pictures of her, say, decorating the tree only from the back so you couldn't see her face.
And what good was that? I mean, first off, I didn't see no cake. Or maybe the pictures that you showed didn't have enough cake there. I don't know, I might throw them in this video. But I didn't see no cake. And then, why would you do that? That just seems off. You know what I mean? You were better off not taking any pictures at all. And honestly. Or just do it of the actual tree itself when it's done. Not these random pictures that he fueled the whole Kimberly saga himself. He's really the one who propagated the situation. He's the one who created the circumstances in the petri dish to make it come to what it came to. You did it yourself. Like I said, you did these stupid little things to try to prove that you weren't lying, but at the same time, even then, people still question that. I've heard some really compelling arguments, but I've heard things like, "Oh, that was just an advertisement out of a magazine or out of a catalog." Phil has admitted that he does get catalogs and magazines. Leanna has said the same thing too. You know what I mean? Of them getting stuff like that. Everybody does during the holidays. You know what I mean? You get different type of advertisements and catalogs and things of that sort propagating the holiday season and whatnot. Now, granted, it's fair to say that not all of them show someone from the back putting that last bit on the tree. They usually go for a side view so you can at least see their profile. I agree, but that doesn't necessarily make everything completely out of the question. I'm just throwing that out there for just to try to be thorough. People have accused him of that. People have accused him of this. At the same time, he just didn't need to do it. That was him yet again trying to prove, hey, she does exist. And yet again, just putting, and you're slowly but surely pushing her closer and closer off the cliff. The very cliff that you said that you're trying to save her from. Because, Phil, the moment her face hits YouTube, the moment it hits Twitch, she's done. And I mean that with every fiber of my being. She is done. People will dissect her life going back years if they can. And trust me, they'll find it. If we can find out, if the internet found out this whole escort situation off of a pussy pic, like, hey, this shit looks off, and then were able to backtrack that. They were able to backtrack a pussy picture with a baseball bat protruding out of it, and ended up finding out the whole escort situation. How long until they get a face reveal? How long until we find out that? How long until we find out names, addresses, ex-boyfriends? How long until then? Do yourself a favor, which is the same thing that some of the very people that are no longer around you had said. Don't put her out there. Don't give us a name. Don't give us a face. Give us a voice if you want, but don't put her out there on stream. Do not put her on screen. Do not make her public. You do it, it's going to be the end of her. I'm just saying. And I'm saying that, and I'm being very, very real when I say that. Do not do it. If you care about her in any type of way, shape, or form, which you don't. You and I know that, Phil. No, you and I both know that you don't give a shit about her. She's nothing more than a means to an end. You and I know that. But if you want to keep up the public persona that you give a shit about her, don't put her out there. Don't do it. She's just going to end up like the last one, if not worse. You've already made one virgin blood sacrifice. There's no need to make another. Not at this point. Let's continue.
And stuff like that. Okay? And it was great. And like I said, over the course of December, everything went well. To the point where things went so well that I'm now working with my girlfriend. She's going to move in with me. We're working together to plan this out. It's going to be mid-February, where she's going to move in and be with me all the time, which is amazing. It's going to be the middle week of February. I don't have the dates set in stone yet. I will shortly, but it's going to be the week of the 11th through the 17th of February. At some certain dates that week, I will not be live streaming because I'll be spending time with her. All right. I'll be spending time with her and moving her in. Okay.
That's another thing too. Maybe I'm just not catching that. How are you going to move her in, Phil, when you have a bad back and you can't even shovel snow? But yet you're going to move her in. Matter of fact, if you remember watching some of Phil's old Christmas videos where he had to pull out, like he had boxes, he had a couple of really heavy boxes that had contained all of his Christmas stuff. And it's fair to say that, Leanna may have helped carry one or two of those, but some of those larger boxes he already had out. And he actually decorated the tree a couple times himself. And now you're talking about helping your new girlfriend / maid move in. How are you going to carry those boxes, Phil? Are you going to pay movers? Because that's a whole lot of money that you don't have. So how bad is your back, Phil? Just thought I'd point that out.
And doing all that stuff. Really positive stuff, all right? By the way, I don't know what's going on with the mods in Stream Chat. I think they have their eyes closed. Because there's an obvious troll or two in Stream Chat, and no one's doing anything about it. People are just ignoring them for now, but still, it would be nice if the mods could keep their eyes open.
If people are ignoring him, then why are you breathing life to him? Why are you giving him life? If they're trying to ignore him because they're trying to listen to what you have to say, why would you draw attention to it? Oh, it's because it bothers you. But yet you're not even man enough to ignore him while you get this important information out. You're that petty. Why are you so petty? Shouts out to Almighty Tevin. You're willing to do. You're so petty that you won't ignore that for a few minutes to get your point across. Okay.
Because we're going to probably have a lot of idiots coming in today who are completely misinformed on the situation I'm about to inform all of you about. All right?
Then ignore them and get to the goddamn point.
So that being said, yeah, so all this positive stuff's going on. Well, folks, what happens when positive stuff goes on with me? Well, of course, people need to find a way to spin stuff to be negative, right? They have to. They have to absolutely find a way to be jerks, to make stuff up, and, basically turn everything into a really toxic thing. This is what they do. They love doing this for me. They love taking my positives and turning them into negatives. In particular, there's...
You don't have any positives, sadly. Nothing that you're not willing to exploit yourself. And then we just critique you exploiting it. That's kind of what it is to be a detractor. I'm a Padawan, and I know that.
People who hate when positive things go well for me. They purposely,
Even still, you're the one who ends up fucking that up. Not the detractors. Anything positive that you've ever had in your life, you screwed it up. Friendships, relationships, business relationships, you screwed all that up on your own. That wasn't us. That wasn't the detractors. That was you. And you did a very good job of doing it.
I can't believe that Phil's doing well. I gotta find a way to fuck him somehow, right? And over the years, people have done millions of things to me. They've doxed me. They've DDoS attacked me. They've given me false copyright strikes. They false flagged me for, violating YouTube guidelines, violating Patreon guidelines, violating Twitch guidelines. They've tried every possible thing they could do to hurt me. They even swatted me at one point.
Yeah, but you have no proof on that swatting because that whole swatting situation just seems off too. I'll wait and do a video on that. I'm going to dig back into that a little bit because that just seems off. That seems really, really off when you think about it.
Okay? It's fucked up, the stuff that I've been through over the
Like I said, it just seems off.
years. In this one particular case, okay? In this one particular case, there was nothing they could do because they realized, wow, Phil's doing good. People are supporting him. They're coming out to support him with this tech.
How good are you doing when you have to beg for money to pay back taxes that you yourself was too stupid to look up? How good are you doing? Really? How good are you really doing?
Situation, his girlfriend, everything's going well with there. What can we do to get this fucker, right? So, if you can believe it, a story was completely fabricated, 100% based on lies. Now, there are things that have been said about me over the years that are based on truth, all right? My ex-girlfriend was much younger than me, so people lied and said, well, Phil's a pedophile. He met her when she was underage. Now, that's untrue, but they based the fact that she was much younger than me as the basis to spread that slander, okay? There's been things like, oh, Phil steals from his fans. Well, I never did that, but, they'll use the fact that there was one time, years and years ago, when I had a Patreon goal that I did not live up to.
Actually, there's a couple of those.
And, of course, I did end up going above and beyond what people actually wanted in response to me not living up to that Patreon goal. But they'll forget about that, and they'll just say that since I didn't live up to a Patreon goal once, I'm a thief, right? But see what I mean?
Like I said, there's a couple of times. Project 7, and then we can go... Would you like me to go down the line of all the games that you rage quitted that you got paid for? That you do even to this day. There's a reason why people call you what they call you.
All these things, these slanderous things that have been said to me over the years, have always been based on a snippet of truth. A piece of truth that's just blown completely out of proportion.
And you're an idiot for saying that. Even I can say that you're an idiot for saying that. That was the worst possible wording. Because you create doubt. Because you create doubt. And that right there was it was poorly done. So you should have never gone about it that way. You never should have done that. That was absolutely foolish. But what you're going to do?
Or out of context. All right. Well, guess what? This time, none of that was present. It was 100% fabricated. a story claiming that I had hired an escort from, I guess, the Netherlands. I didn't even know that until now. And shipped her over to the United States to spend several weekends with me. Basically, every time that I had said that I had spent time away to spend with my girlfriend, claiming that I don't have a girlfriend, that instead it was this escort who I had paid thousands and thousands of dollars to ship her over here and spend time with and basically, have my way with. And the pictures that I had taken during Christmas were not my girlfriend, but were this escort, okay? Ludicrous. Again, no evidence whatsoever was ever provided for any of this. It was all circumstantial shit. Whoever this was that was doing this had a social media account on Twitter showing all these pictures, apparently claiming that they were verified by an escort network and they were a professional escort, and they had all this evidence that they were a professional escort and all this. Of course, never actually provided any concrete evidence whatsoever, anything they were saying. But, folks, sadly, the internet is an immature, gullible, drama-filled place. And there were hundreds, if not thousands, of people who believed the situation, okay? They thought it was true. Because a lot of people, number one, they don't like me for very...
A lot of people just thought it was amusing.
It's bullshit reasons over the years. They listen to all the slander about me and believe it to be true, and therefore they say there's no way that this could be false. This is just the next thing for Phil, the next negative thing. Even though since day one I said it's completely false, don't believe it, there's no evidence. For a month, over a month actually, this thing has been going on. All right, it's just been going on and on and on, and I keep denying it, and it keeps getting worse. The thing is, the more I deny it, the worse it would get, because whoever was running this catfish account, claiming to be an escort, just kept escalating it. First it was that they had come and visited me several times. Then it was, and visited me several times. Then it was, I owe them money. I didn't pay them the money for the last time, which is ludicrous. It's not how escorts work. You have to pay up front. But again, people are so fucking stupid. They're so dumb and ignorant. They want to believe it, right? Like, yes, because I'm sure that escorts and prostitutes work on easy pay payments where you pay half up front and then half later. But what the fuck? You're an idiot.
Maybe they just don't conjugate with prostitutes. And since you seem to know so much about it, it leads people to question and give it the story a bit more validity. You knew a lot about the situation. You knew a lot about how that situation works. Just saying.
Seriously. Basically, nothing of this story ever rang true. Then it got even worse and worse, compounding it. Phil abused women in the past. We have evidence that Phil was a woman abuser, and it wasn't just this escort. There were other escorts involved, and Phil likes to get dildos up his butt. It was just the most ridiculous fucking thing.
Still funny, though.
Possible. Really, it was. Okay? It was absolutely 100% ridiculous bullshit.
Take a sip.
So that being said, all right, all this going on, I just adamantly denied it and said, there's nothing I could do to defend myself, because the only thing I could possibly do to defend myself is to reveal my girlfriend, which I'm not willing to do yet because she doesn't live with me. You all know what would happen if I had revealed my girlfriend early, right? Immediately people would have scoured the internet for information about her. Let's get information about this girl, and let's dox her, and let's attack her, and let's do nasty things to her. And that's why I didn't do it. So for the good of my girlfriend, I said,
For your own what? Okay. I mean, it's obvious that he was going to say that for his own well-being, because that's really what it comes down to. Like I said, she's merely a pawn in this game and whatnot. A game that he's going to lose. And sadly, she's going to lose first.
Well, I'm just going to adamantly deny all these allegations until finally when she moves in with me in mid-February, it's all going to be revealed that it was bullshit anyway, because they're going to see that she's real. They're going to see that the pictures that I took in December are pictures of her, okay? There's no way that you can deny it once you see that. But we're going to have to get there, you know what I mean? And that's
Okay, let's jump in there for a minute. So, you didn't want her to get exposed because somehow she's much more vulnerable. Let me get this understanding. So she's much more vulnerable out here with the rest of the wolves than she is going to be with you. Now, let's think about that for just a second. If she came out right now and said that she was dating Phil, what happens? First off, people are going to bombard her with video links of some of Phil's misdeeds. there are going to be some questions. There's going to be some trolling, obviously. These are things that are going to happen. This is what happens when you get in bed with Phil. Now let's talk about what's going to happen when she gets over there. When she gets over there with Phil and is living with him, and the same situation happens, the exact same thing, and will be ramped up a little further because Phil's going to be an idiot and he's not going to approach this correctly. And then it's going to start some turmoil. Actually, it'll be worse because some of the turmoil will ramp up even further depending on how much about Phil's online presence does she really know about. So if she doesn't know a lot about what Phil does, and let's say she sits in on one of his streams or whatnot, then people are going to shoot her links to this video, to that video, to this video, to archiving of his old tweets and stuff. She's in trouble. She's probably in worse trouble being there than she is out here. Because out here, she can come to the realization that, you know what, maybe this is more than what I really want to deal with. I don't think I really want this. This might not be the best thing. Or maybe we'll give it a little bit more time. Maybe Phil can try to clear some of this up before we jump in head first. When she's over there in Phil's house, she's there. She's done. The chain comes on the moment she enters that house, and there's really nowhere to go because you moved halfway across country. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you see where I'm kind of getting at with that, which is the problem with this whole situation with these younger women and moving them out of state and away from their families and friends and all that stuff anyway, is that why can't you just find someone in your own state, Phil? Why is it that they always have to be from this other state? Why is it that you always have to uproot them from their family and friends and move clear across state to do it? You've done it twice. Why? Why does it always have to be like that? You know what I mean? Like when you were in Connecticut, you could have just moved to Florida. You know what I mean? You could have moved to Atlanta. Could have moved somewhere on the East Coast. You could have even gone to at least the Midwest. But you decided to go clear across the country and go to Seattle, Washington. It sounds like you were trying to distance Leanna as far away from her family as possible. And then try to do a good job of keeping her there and keeping her away from them. So now we have this other mystery girl who's going to also pick up and move clear across country. And once she gets over there and she gets bombarded with the truth, essentially, she's stuck. She's in the worst possible way because she can't really escape it. And that's where it makes it interesting about her getting a job, because that might be her only reprieve. Maybe. Because you did say that you have had people walk up on you while you've been in Washington, asking for autographs, this, that, and the third. So then she'll definitely get exposed. People will definitely find out where she works. She's in a much worse situation with you than she is where she's at currently. And you know that. But you have to spin the story, though. You have to make it seem like you're that white knight. When in actuality, her fate's already been sealed. At least the moment she leaves that state, wherever she's from, or that island, or wherever it is that she's at, she's screwed. Royally. DSP News.
I knew it was going to be weeks and weeks, if not, a month of waiting, and putting up with this bullshit, okay? Now, you may say, what was the end goal of this person who was doing this catfishing and all this with the escort? I don't know. Just to slander me. Pretty much just to slander me. I don't even know what else to say. It was just to slander me, okay? I don't even know what else to say. There was nothing else involved. There was no benefit to them. It's not like they were going to receive any money. I was never extorted. It wasn't like someone reached me behind the scenes and said, Phil, if you want all this to end, pay us $10,000 and we'll end all the slander. No, nothing like that. There was nothing like that at all. It was just complete, some mentally ill noodle. I don't even know what else to say. Some crazy person had created this whole situation, all right? So, folks, I just kept denying it and whatever, and we went on. Now, sadly, the thing blew even worse out of proportion, because then there was a group of people on the internet who don't like me and who purposely make it their focus of their time to basically slander me all the time and say nasty things about me, who basically were propagating this story, and they kept promoting it and kept pushing it on the internet. And so a group of my viewers and fans went over to them and basically started, I guess, from what I understand, harassing them and doing nasty stuff to them, maybe possibly doxing them and threatening them. Again, none of it can be proven. I don't know what really happened. But basically, it all blew out of proportion. Then we had people getting doxed and stuff. It was out of control. And this was all something that was based on complete and utter lies and bullshit.
But you could have shut that down. Because it's very obvious that Brightside would have came to you and been like, hey, this is what's going on and whatnot. And you said, let him handle it. But in truth, you probably could have ignored it. Like I said, this whole Kimberly situation, that part of the story arc, didn't hurt you. It really didn't. You know what I'm saying? It was a great way of getting a laugh. You get stale at times. We all do. So it was a great way to get a laugh out of you. How you reacted made it even funnier. But realistically, they were the ones doing all the work. You sending your boys over there to sit there and try to snuff that out was just dumb. It was real dumb. But in the end, but in hindsight, though, it did make it come to an end. But you lost quite a bit, though, before we got to that point. We'll talk about that as the video goes.
Not any truth to it, and I wasn't involved in it. It was all behind the scenes done to me, even though all I do is sit here and play video games with you guys every day. I know this story sounds absolutely ludicrous to you. It sounds ludicrous to me too, but
Here's the thing, though, and I want you guys to really, really think about this. If he was someone who just sat on his fucking ass and just played video games, would all this really just happen? No. It's because he brings you into his life is why these things happen. But see, Phil doesn't see it that way. Phil looks at him playing video games and whatnot as his life. Even though he doesn't like it. It's clear that he doesn't like doing what he does. But it's easy money, and he can't give that up. And he's boxed himself in such a corner. He's boxed himself away to the point where he can't do anything else. Not without starting from the bottom. And Lord knows his ego's too big for that. Oh, I've been on YouTube for 10 years, man. At one time, for this snippet and whatnot, I was considered something special. Now you want me to go down to the peasants and go ahead and start all over? I'm king of hate. I'm a king. You want me to go down with the peasants now and actually go and get a job and actually work for a living? And then come back to doing this? I already did that. That's why when you hear, for example, there's this thing going on where people are like, oh, I provided free entertainment for years before I got paid for it. You couldn't do anything else. Everybody was like that. Here's the thing. I don't want to call this person out because I do like his channel. I like his content, but he went on this rant the other day and I want to say I get what he was trying to say, but it was unnecessary. He could have gotten his point across without going that way. And more importantly, the more I listened to that rant, the more I heard DSP coming out of him. It was astounding because I've always held this person to, I mean, even though he's done dirt too, and he's been called out and he's had a lot of shit happen to him. I heard DSP come out of him. For a few minutes, I heard distinctly DSP coming out of him, and I was stunned by it. I was really shocked. And he's someone who watches DSP. You know what I mean? He's done videos on him. He's done live streams on him. So to hear him, you know, start to propagate DSP stuff really caught me off guard. And it made me really think about the kind of effect that type of behavior has on people. You guys are trying to protect something that is not going to last forever. You know what I mean? I'm not saying if you want to do YouTube as a living, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? If you can make a living out of it, it's actually whether you choose to do it is irrelevant. If you can make a living out of it, great. But those first years when you were doing it for free or you were trying to build a fan base or whatever the case, that's just part of the breaks. It's very, very hard to get any exposure in anything. You know what I mean? And whatnot. Now, yeah, there are going to be people who are going to slide in and who are going to make it really, really big. And they're going to do it really, really fast. And because they didn't go through some of the hardships, they're going to do stupid ass shit. which is, we've seen plenty of that. But that's just how it works, especially if they can garner attention quickly. You know what I mean? That's what YouTube wants. That's what YouTube needs. They need people who can garner attention fast and have the type of video length to where people will come back and watch it again, over and over again. The Paul brothers, for example, are a great example of that. Hence the reason why they were able to do what they did and whatnot. Now, all of a sudden, we're throwing the hammer down, this, that, and the third. Everybody's talking about, oh, Phil himself has even said, oh, they're talking about this secret program for better ads and everything. That's been out there for a long-ass time, Phil. Everybody knew about that. We may not know exactly who's in it, but we all knew about that. That wasn't anything new. But either way, you making this your job is one thing. And that's if you choose to go that path, that's fine. But those years when you weren't getting paid for it and that was the struggle, that should be used as an example to some people on hey, this is what it took to get to where I'm at now. Now, if you have complaints after you got paid and moving forward, that's fine. But to sit here and say, I gave you guys free entertainment for years and I didn't get paid for it, so what? Plenty of people did. So if you're trying to use that as your forefront to talk to a younger generation about you guys had it so easy, this, that, and the third, come on, man, it just sounds like what old people say now. Of course you guys had it a little rougher because you guys were there in the beginning when people weren't getting paid for it. It doesn't make sense to sit there and to go into these little rants about that stuff. At the end of the day, you're making money. You are making a living, right? Not everybody on YouTube does that. Not everybody on YouTube can do that. But anyway, sorry, I kind of went on a tangent with that. But to hear this person go off on what he did, I was stunned. I might actually do a video on that, just because I would have never thought he would. He's better than that. He's better, or at least I thought he was. He was better than that. Sorry about that, guys.
It's true. It actually happened. What the fuck? So, finally, everybody. Finally.
Oh, but but real fast. So that free entertainment shit, just everybody does it. You're not exempt from it. Everybody has to. You got to get dirty. You know what I mean? Before you can get anywhere. Everybody, even a king, had to start from somewhere. You know what I mean? Some more than others, but historically speaking, some people were just born into it. But those earlier kings, they weren't kings. They were serfs. They were slaves. They were fucking soldiers and shit. They had to work their way to royalty, and a lot happened with that. Blood, sweat, a lot of things had to be sacrificed to get to that point. But for you to sit there and try to propagate that on these people being like, this is what it took to do that, they don't understand that because they didn't live through that. They just don't get it. Some people will and get to that appreciation, but most won't. So you're kind of fighting an uphill battle with that. I'm not saying it's a battle not worth waging, but it's not worth raging about. Is it worth waging? Yes, but not raging about. It really isn't. Sorry about that.
You knew eventually this was gonna. There's no way if this story was fake, it was gonna hold. There was no way. There was no. Again, there's no way you could just lie, and never have a fact behind it and expect this story to hold.
You do.
So yesterday, apparently, I don't know how it happened, but someone put this story about me being with an escort and all that, having not paying them and shit like that. Put the story up over on Reddit, and apparently the thread blew up. Thousands of people read the thread, and within hours, I was getting bombarded on social media again by another wave of idiots who believed the story with no evidence, attacking me, slandering me. People came on the streams yesterday, attacking me, slandering me, and I'm like, you know what? It is what it is. I don't give a fuck. I'm just gonna do what I did the whole time, okay? And ignore it and say, listen, it's not true. Let's just play games. And that was the attitude I took. Well, ladies and gentlemen, finally, people went too far, because you know what happens is when a story like that finally breaks, okay, guess what happens? Other people take notice who normally would not have seen the story. And it just so happens a certain man was basically over on Reddit, saw the story, clicks on it, looks at these pictures of this supposed escort and says, I know that girl. Wait a minute, I actually know this person. And she's not a fucking escort. What is this? So then he ran over and talked to his, I believe, fiance, who actually was friends with the girl. The fiance went on Twitter last night and actually tweeted me and said, I don't know who you are, but I know this girl in real life, and she is not an escort. This is ridiculous that all her pictures have been used in this manner, and I'm going to contact her. However, we live in Tennessee, and, we don't have, it's nighttime now, so I'm not going to wake her up. She has a 6-year-old kid. I'll let her know in the morning, and hopefully we'll get all this cleared up. So, overnight, all this happened.
Which, yet again, it's an interesting coincidence how it hits Reddit. Someone from Reddit sees this, alerts his girlfriend / fiance / whatever, and then all of a sudden they tweet him and talk about, oh, we'll work this out. Even though if you see the actual tweets itself, I took a glance at them. I'll see if I can find them for you. If not, they'll probably have been earlier on in the video. The conversation didn't go nearly as smooth as he makes it sound, and whatnot. So, but either way. But it's a coincidence how all of that happened in 24 hours to clear all that up. Probably thank Brightside Viking for something like that.
Right? So guess what happens? Mysteriously, all of the accounts and support accounts, everyone who basically was supposed to be part of this network of lies against me, all the escorts and escort accounts that had backed up the fake escort account mysteriously vanished. All of the supposed evidence that wasn't real evidence vanished. The Twitter account magically disappears and all the tweets get deleted. Gee, I wonder what was really going on here. And so finally it was revealed this morning. The whole thing was bullshit to begin with, just like I said. The account basically was a Twitter account that wasn't hacked or anything like that, I guess. I don't know. I don't really understand.
Then don't make a statement like it wasn't hacked if you don't understand what happened. It just makes you sound stupid.
The truth behind it, or what is true or what isn't. But apparently, I guess, it was a complete
Just say that the account got compromised and just keep it moving.
Fish. Alright? It was a 100% catfish. The whole thing was fake from the beginning, which is what I said. These pictures have been stolen from a girl who had a family and basically had a very offline situation. I guess when she was younger, she took a lot of pictures and then decided, well, I have a family now, I'm not going to keep doing this. So she basically stopped using social media. Someone went in and saw that and hacked the account or got control of the...
So you're telling me that someone was watching this girl until she decided to get off and actually, and have a family and do that, and then they decided to take the account over? How does that even make sense? Like, you would have to have been watching her close for that to happen. You know what I mean? That would have been someone that she knew. Or at least someone who had some type of association with her. It just kind of doesn't work that way. What I think happened is someone was well, we know who someone is, actually. Mrs. I like to insert, and then the hairy husband. And the daughter, who may or may not actually be what their daughter really looks like. But what we think really happened is that, however the scheme basically worked out, is they were patrolling Twitter and just going through random accounts to see how much activity they had. And when you find an account that hasn't been used in a while, then you figure out a way to get into it. Now, I can't go into the details of all that nonsense. That'd just be irresponsible. But it's assumed that's what exactly happened. The Phil situation just kind of fell into place, coincidentally. And that's how we ended up getting the escort saga. Obviously, there's a little bit more to that, but, I just give you guys kind of like a rough thought. At least that's how I feel.
Picture, whatever it is, and created this whole fake online persona. And by the way, this online persona existed for years. It wasn't just, it just got created now. This online persona existed for like 5-6 years, apparently. Like, it was really long running. Okay?
Take a sip.
So it's pretty ridiculous. Right? At this point, like, it was basically an elaborate thing. Now, do I believe that 6 years ago someone created or hacked or faked a social media account to eventually get to me? No, I don't. I don't believe that at all. What I believe is that maybe this was someone who wanted attention and jumped on a bandwagon or saw an opportunity to exploit. I don't know what the long game was. Again, I never received any threats like, let's blackmail.
But with that being said, that means whoever it was that watched this account to ended up taking it over or hacking it or whatever it was and then basically using those pictures and making this Kimberly account would have had to have done the same thing with you. They would have had to watch you close and wait for an opportunity. It's a lot of time. I'm not saying it's out of the question, but that is a lot of time. It's more time than most.
No, maybe what it was is they wanted to have my girlfriend be revealed and then say, well, we're going to keep making shit up and slandering both of you unless you pay us money or something. It probably was something like that, where I was going to get extorted or something. I can't understand.
Extorted for what? Either they, first off, you getting pushed into revealing your girlfriend was all on you. Your own ego was going to basically put you to that situation. Now the question is, and this is why he brings up the extortion, which makes me want to question why he would use that, is the fact that either your girlfriend exists or she doesn't. And if she doesn't, you would just have to bite the bullet, which would be smarter and cheaper. If not, you expose her early, and what's going to happen when she moves in is exactly what's going to happen before she moves in. Whether you exposed her an hour later. And you know that. So using extortion doesn't seem to make too much sense. What I think, and now in my own opinion, Phil was a stepping stone. He was a stepping stone to something bigger. I don't know what yet, but something tells me that whatever they were propagating with this con and this whole escort network and everything, to use all that for Phil, it's a waste. But to use that for a much bigger fish would make sense. Think about how the escort situation started. Think about how if you guys were following her tweets and stuff at that time. I screenshotted some of them, but I don't have all of them. But trust me, I'm sure someone in the hyperbolic time chamber has all of that archived. That could have been the lead up to something bigger, because she had talked about flying to here, flying to there, flying to certain type of expos in the United States, certain type of conventions, so on and so forth, meeting up with fans, booking this, that, and the third. This was a long-term scheme to net in much bigger fish, much bigger fish, and whatnot. I think with Phil, they gave it a little too much time, and I think as the tension was starting to wane just a little bit, it started to kind of become a problem, where there were some missteps made to where they had to make sure they kept the story going for something bigger. But then when the when the pussy pics came out, which, there's gonna be doubt in everything, but when the pussy pics came out, oh boy, so people were like, I don't know, the way the baseball bat's swallowing that, it makes me wonder. I think I've seen those golf clubs before, and they may have overplayed their cards. But then again, if it wasn't for Brightside and some of these other guys putting the heat on with it, who could have said? But couldn't they have not have done that without doing all the death threats? I don't know.
Yeah, what else the point would have been of all of this at all? Really, honestly, I just don't get it. So who knows what the long game plan actually was? All right. So that being said, overnight, guess what? The whole story fell apart. I've been 100% vindicated, and that's it. It's over. The drama surrounding the escort saga is over, and I can move on to being, myself and just focusing on daily.
Not yet. Yet again, the escort saga may very well be over. The Kimberly arc is done. The actual doxing part, though, is finished too. But there's still fallout from that he does have to deal with. There are people who are going to eventually come out and be like, this is fucked up that Phil sat there and left us out to the wolves so he could protect one person and not protect a whole community. When does one man outweigh a community? And I mean one man besides Phil. When does that happen? To now, he's lost 3 whales. He's lost a former fan who was still doing dirt for him on the side for whatever reason. And now he's lost the complete credibility of his forums. And now his Twitch chat is is just as scared. The situation is kind of settled, and yet people are still nervous. People are still worried. People are leaving messages being like, I want my account erased immediately. I don't feel safe on his chat. Now what? So, ladies and gentlemen, it's far from over. We still have the fallout to deal with. You know what I mean? The fallout. You know what I'm saying? The cell games might be over, the saga might be over, but there's still that in between before we get into the next saga. That's what Phil needs to clean up.
Gameplay streams every day, and the thing is, who's to say someone tomorrow might just do the same thing, make another fake media account, and do something else negative against me, right? There's no way to prevent stuff like this. Anyone could do it at any time, right? But the thing is, I think at this point now, finally, people are starting to realize you should stop being such gullible sheep and realizing that you have to vet these stories. You can't just believe everything you're told on the internet, especially with the lengths that this story went. You know, a 6-some-year-old social media account that people looked legit, so people believed it, right? And then to come find out the whole thing's false anyway. So see what I mean? At this point, I think people will now be super skeptical and say, you know what? Not that we like Phil, but we're going to give the benefit of the doubt to the fact that we're going to doubt everything that's said about him because this story looked so real and was fake, okay? When in reality, it wasn't real at all. And
Phil, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you because that's what I do. If the story is entertaining enough, and if there's enough substance to it, I'm going to put it out there. Now, granted, I'll put the disclaimer out that, hey, this shit might be a complete troll. This is just like I did with the Kimberly situation. This might be a complete troll. This may have nothing to it. But if it's amusing, I'm going to still put it out there. Because the people who frequent this channel, you need a laugh. You know what I'm saying? You need a laugh every once in a while. You need something that you can watch really fast, as long as I don't make the video too long. And you can get a nice little chuckle out of. And if I follow it up, then people might be like, oh shit, what's going on now? Oh boy, oh shit, word? Dude, if it sounds amusing enough, and if there's enough static around it right before it becomes electricity, I'm going to report on it. It'll be late. That's in the disclaimer, always late, never breaking. But I'm going to report on it, especially if it's amusing. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not going to go ahead and go into some complete donkey effing type stuff. But if it's amusing enough, it will be reported on. It's just how it needs to go. It's seriously how it needs to go. And that's what everybody's going to do. If it's funny, if it's amusing enough, people are going to do it, are going to talk about it. It is what it is. And you take it for the amusement and move. There's going to be a lot of people who are not going to want no parts of it. Not until they find out if it's funny or if it's real or not. I mean, Phil, you're a vortex of lies. The line between what's real with you and what isn't is ridiculous. Who cares? Everything you say, I assume is a lie, as most people. It's just how you roll. It's just how it is. You're having a hard time accepting that, but we've all accepted that a long time ago. It's our job to kind of weave through what's true and what isn't. Whether you say it's true or not doesn't even matter at this point. Your part of the job is the lie. Our part of the job is to see what is real, what isn't, and make fun of the rest of it. Play your position, Phil. You're not really good at anything else. DSP News.
I said that from the get-go, and again, there was no evidence, but it is what it is, right? Okay. So the bottom line is, folks, the drama is over. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people have speculated, what am I going to do today? I'm going to sit here and I'm going to gloat on stream. The entire stream is going to be me making fun of people who believe the story and basically being a real dick to people for weeks. And Phil's going to have his moment in the spotlight now. He's going to be a real asshole and he's going to just basically stick it to everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the complete opposite of what you expect, all right? Based on all the stuff that I've seen happen over the last month, all right? What I'd like to do, and you're not going to believe this. I can't believe this. Ladies and gentlemen, what I would like to do is extend an olive branch. Okay? What does that mean? It means I understand that there's a group of people out there who are not the people who used to exist, whose purpose was to actually hurt me. Let me repeat that. I know that the group of people who used to actively try to hurt me all the time, through things like DDO.
Now, how long has SOK been gone for? It's been gone for a little while, but he still dwells on them. And one of you guys asked me in a message, why do you think he keeps bringing them up? Well, I'll tell you, just like probably anybody else that you've messaged would probably tell you. Because they had the most influence at the time. You know, at the time, they had the most influence, and they could garner a whole lot of attention. And Phil hated it even though he watched them. He needs the detractors. He needs us. He needs us now. He needs us now more than ever. And he needs to kind of propagate the fact that these people back in the day, they did this to me, but they're gone now. You could see that I'm strong enough that I can outlast them, or you know what I'm saying, or because he never defeated them, but that he can outlast them. He needs to kind of keep perpetuating that lore and whatnot. It's a roadmap to sympathy. He needs detractors more now than any, because he's shown that his fan base doesn't mean anything to him. He's shown that. He's shown that recently with that whole doxing situation. He showed his cards. And now he needs to kind of backtrack. Well, I didn't mean to do it. It's just, you know what I'm saying? I've been attacked by so many people for so long, and the main group is gone now. So you know, for the rest, I don't want to see another group emerge. I need to try to make amends now. You know what I mean? Because I don't want anybody else to get hurt. People that got hurt on your watch. The perpetuation of SOK is like the boogeyman. You know what I mean? It's like the boogeyman. It's like Bloody Mary. It's like any other terrifying thing that bumps in the night. They were there, but they're gone now. But they could come back. He himself has to keep SOK alive, because it's one of the ways that he can garner sympathy. In my opinion, that's what I think he's doing. He needs to keep them alive. He needs to keep he will essentially perpetuate their legend and their mythos. He'll do it. Now, granted, that doesn't mean that there isn't a group out there of people who want to see SOK come back, who want to see Fred make his triumphant return. There is actually a group out there, and they're a fair size. But Phil himself now needs that more than ever, and that's why he needs the detractors too. Because it's not just a matter of us reporting on his bullshit and garnering him more sympathy and in turn bringing more people to him. But now he needs us as a buffer, in my own opinion, of course, as a buffer between what could come next and where he's at now. He, sadly to say, he's comfortable with the detractors. He's become comfortable with what this situation is now. What he's scared of is something bigger and something more elaborate coming down the line. Another SOK probably frightens him to the core. He's absolutely afraid of that. So now he needs the detractors right here in between himself. So now let me try to lay out the perimeter. It's Phil, then it's what's left of his community. Okay, then there's his hardcore supporters, which there's very few of them, barely any whales. Then there's the detractors. He needs us to kind of dissect the bullshit. That's what this olive branch thing is supposed to be for. He's basically putting us right there in front now, basically the front line it for him. And then you have what could come later. Whether another SOK, whatever KiwiFarms ends up finding, whatever Reddit ends up finding, we're the buffer now. He wants to use us as his barrier between his fan base and what online produces. That's what the end goal is. That's, in my own opinion, that's what the situation is now. That's why he's saying, oh, well, if you guys actually hear anything, reach out. Because he knows now that the detractor community ain't going anywhere. And he also knows that we're growing. The detractor community, there is somebody new making a video on Phil every day. Every day, something new. So with that being said, with that being perpetuated, he's hoping that he can try to get into our graces. You guys continue making funny videos about me, making fun of my little quirks, this, that, and the third, yada, 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 yada. But when the big stuff starts to brood up, you guys basically dissect that shit and take care of that for me. That's what his thought process is now. That's what his situation is now. It's not going to work. But let him think what he wants to think. That's just my opinion. DSP News.
US attacks, doxing, swatting, they're gone. Thank God they're gone. But they're gone. All right? I know that. And I'm happy about that. I'm happy about the fact that I don't have to worry about what's the next insanely crazy fucking thing that's going to happen to me on a daily basis, because those people were destroyed. They were systematically torn apart from the inside and exposed for what they really were. For years, they said that they were just people trying to be critical of me, when in reality, it was later on proven they were mentally ill. They were actually trying to fuck and hurt me and hurt my life and hurt, you know, people with me and around me. All right? And, you know, and they were exposed for what they were, and they were destroyed. All right? I don't believe that the people today who seek to basically follow me and find out the drama about me and all that, I don't actively think that they actually want to hurt me, per se. I just think that they're a very curious group of individuals who find me fascinating for whatever reason. Some would call it obsession. Some would call it something else. I don't know. All right?
Keep stroking yourself off if you need to, Phil. Make sure you have your camera on when you do it.
Here's the deal. All right? I think that that group of people actually are just as happy that this whole thing has been exposed for what it is, and just as fascinated, because really, in reality, they just wanted to get to the bottom of it. It wasn't that they actively wanted to propagate that story no matter what, but they just looked at it and they said, man, a 6-year-old social media account.
Ladies and gentlemen, it was funny. That's what it was. It was funny. It was amusing. It was entertaining, because there was somebody behind the scenes there, or there was someone behind the Kimberly account that was actually engaging with people, and watching what she was doing it was entertaining. It is what it was. But how Phil reacted, though, is what hurts him. It's not us. A lot of us just go off what he says. That's kind of what this all works out to be. Phil says stupid shit in a particular situation, and we point out the stupid shit that he says in that situation. That's it. That's essentially it. No one's going out any further and trying to perpetuate anything else. His fan base will do that for us. Well, not even his fan base. His hardcore supporters and the people in his inner circle, which there's really no inner circle now, but they're the ones that'll do it. And then we just call him out on it. That's really all this kind of comes about. The extra stuff, how many people are coming out and taking credit for that? It is what it is. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, this is still laid down at his feet. You react poorly to everything. And that's what's funny. That's what's amusing. That's what's a bit fascinating, given that, how long have you been doing this? How old are you? Why is it that you can't sit there and take the banter? You can't take the joking. It is what it is. Maybe if you just stop doing it, then people wouldn't call you out on it. But you don't want to do that, because you need to garner attention, good or bad. And don't get it twisted, ladies and gentlemen. As of now, he's kind of wanting, I think since the beginning of the year, end of last year, he wants more positive attention. He's tired of the negative, because there's too much of it, and he can't fight it anymore. It's just too much. And it probably is. It's just way, way too much. And then you got people like D, for example, who's going to go back, and myself, as well as others, who are going to go into his back catalog and start bringing some of that up, which there's even more amusing stuff back there. And then what? Because there's a bunch of lies that he keeps holding on to and swearing to God up till this very day is the truth, but they're lies. They're blatant lies. And people will point that out. People have been pointing it out. But now, with this whole new wave of detractors coming in, with a lot of these guys who have kind of picked it up and are starting over, now you have a fresh face, you have fresh ideas coming about, and Phil can't fight it off anymore. He was comfortable with all the old stuff. That's why he keeps bringing up SOK. He was comfortable with that up until things turned into what they turned into. Now, he's afraid of some of these newer people coming in, and that they may go ahead and take it a little too far. You got comfortable, Phil. And now, you couldn't fight back. You can't do it. It's not even about the numbers game. It's about, you're all about quantity. Your detractor's about quality. And you can't match the quality. You can't. Like I said, Medicare should have a video coming out later today. I couldn't tell you how long it's going to be, but it's not going to probably be that long. And it's going to absolutely fucking dissect you in a way that I can only dream of doing. But I won't, because I'm lazy. And that I'm no Medicare. So what are you going to do then? And then, like I said, then the bigger YouTubers who are coming out and throwing their 2 cents in, they're not making this shit, they're not building their channels off this, but it's funny to point it out. So now you got a whole new group of people that are coming out and taking a look at who you are. Because a lot of people really don't know who Phil is. You know what I mean? You got a lot of this newer generation that's kind of come in and just like, I don't know who the fuck Phil is. I follow these guys. But now they're looking at him and they're looking at all these videos. And if you look at the Detractor channels, their views are getting higher and higher and higher, as well as subscribers. Phil sees that too. You see what I'm saying now about all these barriers that he's trying to put up and why he needs the detractors now? If I haven't made my case to you, then I understand. But that's what I can present you for the time being. Let's continue. We're almost done.
Now, what are the chances that that could be fake, you know? And they were duped. All right? That's kind of what I'm getting. That's kind of what I'm seeing, all right? Here's what I want to do. Instead of having everything blow up and be nasty and be negative and have everyone at each other's throats all the time, which I don't want. I just want it to be a situation where, listen, I realize I'm not an infallible human. I make mistakes all the time. I do stupid shit all the time, right? I have little intricacies and daily tics and things that people make fun of on a daily basis. I get that. You know, I'm a public persona, doing things in public every day. You know, people are going to pick up on things and make fun of me for them. I'm okay with that. I'm okay if you say I'm a bad gamer. I'm okay if you say I'm bad with money. I'm okay if you say any of that. I don't give a fuck. The bottom line is that's all fun and games and just things to be funny and make fun of someone on the internet, all right? The difference here between that and a systematic, you know, slander campaign is that the little funny things every day, they're funny, all right? And everyone laughs or whatever. Okay, we move on. But when you start doing systematic nasty shit that could fully ruin my reputation, it could ruin my income, it could ruin my life.
Stop. You've done all that on your own, Phil. You want to talk about ruining your reputation? You've rage quit games that you got played for, that you were paid for. People paid you to play a game, and you rage quit it. You've done that a couple of times. Okay? So there right there is any of your reliability. Public persona, who you are as a person. You have proven to be someone who will who will shit on anybody and everybody in a way that just is not even about an opinion. It's not even about being critical. It's just being disrespectful. That's what you do. And when you get called out on it, you throw all the slanderous stuff out and whatnot, and then you hide back in your hole. Another part of that would be considered your racism or ignorance, as some people have pointed out. It's blatant racism. But, you know, some people want to say that you're just ignorant. That's fair. If they want to call you that, that's fine. And there's plenty of that. Enough so that it got you kicked off a site. And you say that, oh, they just listened to the trolling and they didn't give me a fair shot. Anybody who can watch that video can see that there's nothing remotely funny about that. And you trying to hide behind the veil of Howard Stern and that nonsense doesn't help you either. Especially if you actually look further into that and realize that, oh, the lawsuits are pending. There's lawsuits on him to this day about that little series. It didn't really work out. It might have been funny for the shock value, but financially, it didn't really work out. So there you go on that. Now, let's talk about your business, or lack thereof. It's shit, and it has been. All businesses need to evolve. They need to constantly try to get better, and more importantly, if you want to, it's not only the hardest thing about running a business is sticking to some of the core values that you have, what people like about you or like about what you provide, while still keeping up with a constantly evolving world, with keeping up with other people that are in your same lane, that are constantly evolving, doing new things, and trying something else. It's almost in a lot of ways of having a YouTube channel. How your YouTube channel starts is going to be different than where you're at now, let's say over any period of time. You want to keep the core audience that fell in love with you or enjoyed your content from the beginning, but at the same time, you realize that you do have to evolve and you do have to try other things. You have to expand in some way, shape, or form. Snort Brunell is actually a great example of it. In 2017, you've seen him really go through a bit of a renaissance in what he decided to go with, which worked out great, and is why he's putting himself in a position to be doing well. And we should all be happy for him, which you are. We're all happy for Snorping now. So that right there is a great example. The thing is with you, and going back to your time period, is you were right there in the beginning when you could have done these things, and you didn't. You couldn't see, as I've always said, past your own fist. You couldn't see past what was in front of you that you could grab. So you didn't evolve. You didn't do anything. You stayed stagnant. And that was by design. You did that on purpose. Best example I can give you without dragging this video on way too long is, even though most of you guys don't mind me talking like this, is when he was approached by Machinima. They asked him to be on a conference call basically with them, and they were like, this is right when Street Fighter 4 was coming out, and it was starting to get a lot of popularity. A Street Fighter game that was online, and it garnered a lot of attention. Street Fighter 4 has never been, I mean, in truth, Street Fighter 4 could very well, in the incantations that came after it, that falls in the Street Fighter 4 kind of saga or realm, was probably more successful than anything else. Street Fighter 5 is a joke. You know what I mean? I do like watching, well, not a joke. It's not very good. There's a lot of problems with it. But like, I do like watching like SJ Cruz, for example. I love watching him go through it, and I saw his video on the Cammy changes. You guys should check that video out, by the way. It's a good video. And you should check him out on Twitch too, by the way. He just started streaming seriously. So, or he started streaming over there, I should say. I wouldn't say seriously. So you should check him out also. But Street Fighter 5 is just not going to live up to what Street Fighter 4 is. It's never going to do it. It started off bad. You know what I mean? It just started off really, its launch was terrible. And it's trying to put a Band-Aid on a gaping wound that obviously needs stitches. It's very obvious. There is no quick fix for Street Fighter 5. It needs to probably just need to get scrapped. And they need to start all over. But we'll see how Capcom plays that out. But yet again, he had a chance at one time where they put him in a meeting and they were like, hey, Street Fighter 4 is getting really popular. Would you consider maybe doing some commentary for it? Oh, well, yeah, I have a background in Street Fighter and the Street Fighter community and the FGC. I could have done this, that, and the third. You know, would you be interested in maybe doing that? Oh, well, yeah, I guess I'd be interested in doing that. But Phil, and he said this himself, oh, but I thought this was supposed to be about my YouTube channel. This guy right here is talking about expanding beyond that. He gave Phil an opportunity to expand beyond just your little YouTube channel and do something more. Put some real money in your hands and really make something out of it. And you completely fucked it up. Now, I should do a video on that, on what that could have been, because I'm not going to drag it out here. But I'm going to throw some scenarios at you in that video, and just think about what I'm saying and what could have been for Phil back in those days. Actually, I need to talk to D about that. Maybe he can help coordinate with me on that. That'd be cool. And there's a friend of his too that does really great videos also. Maybe we can work something out on that. But anyway, but yeah, that could have been amazing if given the right amount of time. If he would have been able to see past himself, but he couldn't. Either because he was too ignorant or because he was too lazy. And it is what it is. Phil looks at his little his 186,000 subscriber count, which he said himself that subscribers don't mean anything. And he's like, that's his brand. That's his seal of approval that people follow me and people like me. The thing is, you've sat at that for years. So while people who came up around the same time as you are in the 3s, the 4s, the 5s, and the 6, you know, some of them are already in the millions. Look at where you're at. And you just sat there and you stayed stagnant because you were comfortable. And then you sat there and played the system. You gamed the system to get over on anybody and everybody who has something negative to say about you. Allegedly, you even screwed over smaller channels. I have no proof of that. So, I'm just going to say alleged. But you've done some shady shit with Machinima. But the moment that your money got cut up a little bit, then you started lashing out at them and then you lost everything. You are your greatest deficit. And after 10 years and you haven't figured that out yet, everything's going to be a downward spiral from here. You will be a target for anything and everything that comes next. And you have no one to blame but yourself. DSP News.
When things happen like swatting and physical threats against me that have happened, all right, that's when it goes too far. And what I want to do is extend an olive branch to the people out there who are only in this to basically just have a good jollies, a few laughs every day. I understand you and I get you. I'm not saying I'm like you, because I'm not the kind of person who follows someone on the internet just because you don't like them and you want to make fun of them. But I understand there are some people who are like that, all right?
You don't get shit. So don't ever say that you understand anybody, Phil, because you don't. You barely, in my own honest opinion, you don't even understand yourself. So don't ever say you get anybody else. I don't even get you. I can anticipate some of the dumb shit you do, but that's because you fall into a pattern a lot. But even I can't say that I understand you. I don't think any detractor could ever say that. You're like Snowpiercer Nell says, you're a species among yourself. And the best example that I would bring up against you would be probably Spoonie. But even then, even at Spoonie's laziest point, even at his lowest point, which is where he's at now, he still leaps and bounds beyond you and better than you. At least from an entertainment standpoint. If he gave 10% of what he could give, he'd blow you out the goddamn water. Patreon was probably the worst thing that ever happened to him. YouTube was the worst thing that ever happened to you. Time will prove me right. Maybe. Hopefully. Let's continue.
Right? What I want to say is basically call a truce and say, I don't want to be talking about this shit every day. I don't want to be bothered with this shit every day. All right? I don't. I just want to do my thing. I want to stream. I want to have fun with games. I want to celebrate the fact that here I am in 2018. I'm still here. My Twitch channel is growing. Everything's going good. That's what I want to focus on. All right? I don't want to be constantly having to worry about what's the next thing that's going to happen to me or my girlfriend or whatever, and literally live in fear because we got these nasty people doing these insane campaigns against me, 6-year faked fucking social media accounts and shit, right? So, here's what I want to do. I want to call a truce and say, listen, I basically just won't mention the nonsense, all right, as long as it's kept to a reasonable amount where it's not personal attacks and slander against me, all right? It's okay to say I'm bad at games. It's okay to say I'm fat. It's okay to say this and that. You know, I don't care about that shit. But when I wake up one morning and I get called a pedophile and I get called a thief and I get called, someone who uses escorts and gets fucked in the ass with dildos and doesn't pay the escorts, that stuff can hurt me, all right? And the bottom line is I'm done with it. Like, when I wake up and I find out that people can get doxxed because there was this big thing that happened where because of the slander campaign, people attacked each other and everything, I can't deal with this shit anymore. Seriously, I'm too old for this shit. I feel like Danny fucking Glover in Lethal Weapon. I'm too old for this shit.
You do realize he's black, right? I just want to make sure, Phil, because we all know how you feel about people that aren't your color. I just want to make sure. I'm just saying.
I got other shit to do. I got more important shit to deal with than this bullshit every fucking day. Okay? I'm just done with it. I'm seriously done with it.
No, you're not done until... You're not done. You can't even say that anymore. You don't dictate when this stops. Someone else does. It's been like that for a while, and it'll continue to be that way. You want this to stop, Phil? Let me give you a piece of advice. You want this to stop? You want it to really stop? Stop talking about your life. Stop doing these pre-streams where you talk about dumb shit that has nothing to do with the games. Stop doing Axe the King. Or if you... Well, no. You can do Axe the King, but keep it strictly to games. Keep your personal life out of this. In all factions. You do that, then it stops. And we just shit on you for your gameplay. You don't. And you keep bringing your real life into this, which you have to because you need the money, then guess what comes next? The only thing that you can control now, Phil, is whether you bring your real life into this or not. You keep your life out of this, you keep it strictly shitty-ass games, And then there you go. If you keep wanting to exploit everything around you, then you'll take what comes next. That's how this is going to work. Whether you say you're done with it or not doesn't mean a goddamn thing to anybody. From here on out, well, it's been this way. But moving forward, you have no control over that now. Stop talking about yourself. Keep Philip Brunel out of this and keep it DSP Gaming. If you can't do that, then what will come? Then what you just dealt with will continue to keep coming. I don't know how you haven't figured this out yet. But since you haven't, let a detractor help you with that. Even though detractors have already been telling you that. Your own fan base has been telling you that. You still haven't figured it out yet. This isn't some game that you can just shut off and rage quit. This is real life, Phil. There is no reset button. You play the game to the end. This isn't Persona. The game continues to go until it's finished. So either A, take yourself out of it and play the game out, or B, shut the fuck up, keep getting charmed, and the game continues to keep going. Your choice. DSP News.
And for, on behalf of myself and all of my fans and viewers, we're done. We don't want to be part of this shit. All right? You can have your jollies in your own part of the internet. All right? I don't care. Do what you want. Make slanderous videos about me. Ooh. Big fucking deal, right? Guess what? I've been on the internet for 10 years. People have been making slanderous videos for about 6. Longer than I've been on the internet without having slander. I've had slander, and I'm still here. I don't care about that shit anymore, all right? But what I don't want these crazy personal attacks, insane things going on with no evidence, and anyone at any time can just accuse me of anything, and now all of a sudden, everything's negatively affected. I can't have that. I just can't, all right? So here's the deal. When I extend this olive branch, what I'm basically saying is a lot of these people who spend a lot of time focused on me have a lot of means, and obviously a lot of free time, to vet stories like this, okay? What I'd like to say is if things in the future happen like this, all right, and there's a weird fucking story, weird shit going on, come to me. I'm serious. Come to me. Talk to me about it. I will speak with you about it, and we'll get I would have told you behind the scenes a million times what was going on with me, right? I could have explained to you why I can't provide evidence that I actually owe taxes. I would have explained all of this. The thing is, my viewers don't give a fuck about it. They just want me to play games. And I'm not going to sit here every day wasting my fucking time talking about it when people want to see gameplay streams. Okay? But it's that simple. It's like, I would rather have all of this dealt with and behind the scenes, all right, and have people actually vet the bullshit than have to worry about every day what's the next bullshit, what's the next story, what's the next slander, okay? So, as of right now, I'm throwing it out there.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so one, that proves my point that the detractors really are just another or a wall for him, from between him and the extra bullshit. First things first. One, reaching out to you is stupid. You have the majority of us blocked on Twitter, in your chats, on Instagram. I don't know if you can block people on Instagram. I just threw that out there. You have most of your comment section's dead. You have us blocked. So if that's really the case and whatnot, turn on your comment section back on DSP Gaming. So someone can be like, hey, Phil, I'd like to talk to you. Can I send you a DM? And then do that. Fuck your email address. That doesn't mean a goddamn thing. People need to direct message you when they have certain situations like this. And now you have to be open to do it. And since apparently you're willing to have a bit of dialogue, that means you know who the prime suspects are. You know the type of people who would want to reach out to you about certain situations. But here's the thing, though. All of that is it's incidental anyway. Because you can't even listen to your own fan base. You don't even listen to them. So what makes you think you're going to listen to someone like me? You won't even listen to one of the greats of this community, Almighty Tevin. You won't even listen to him. And he's constantly giving you good advice. Consistently. And you won't even listen to him. You won't listen to someone like Arjun or Theo, who are constantly giving you good advice. You don't listen to them. So what makes you think you're listening to anybody else? It's obvious that you watch all of them though, but you don't even listen to them. You won't listen to your own fan base. So now you want to go ahead and come up with dialogue? Why? So you can go ahead and take what information they give you and then squash it immediately on the next pre-stream? No. That's dishonest, Phil. And that's not a truce. And you think you're so goddamn smart, but you're not. It's very obvious. I didn't need to say that for that to be true. I'm dissecting you now and I'm not even trying to. So, no, that's not going to happen. That's not going to work. You've blocked too many people off on too many means. Are you going to go ahead and just unblock everybody? Are you going to go ahead and actually perpetuate open dialogue and free speech amongst all of your platforms? No, you're not going to do that, are you, Phil? You're not going to unban everybody on YouTube. You're not going to turn on your comment section. You're not going to unban everybody from your streams. You're not going to do any of that. So then how do people reach you then if that's the case? I don't know about you, but I'm not willing to make multiple sock accounts to try to give you a good point that you're not going to use anyway. I'm not willing to make a sock account just so I can try to feed you some information about something I might have heard, just so you can go ahead and slander that shit on the fucking next pre-stream. Not doing that, Phil. Not doing that at all. And you're easy to figure out. So it's very easy to assume that that's what you would do. So none of that. And no one's going to the King of Hate forums because that shit's toxic as fuck and you'll get doxxed off of it. So tell me, Phil, how are people going to get a hold of you? How are people really going to be able to reach out to you on that? I want you to think about that for a minute. See, that's the problem that you have, Phil, is you don't think before you talk. What I did in that 20 seconds was nothing special. That was common sense. And my memory is longer than yours. You remember the shit that you think people did to you. Most people can remember just about everything. Just about. My memory might be a slight bit stronger, but not by much. So now what?
I don't want any more drama and bullshit. I want my viewers to feel safe and not have to feel like they're going to get thrown into the line of fire.
Oh, and then as it pertains to your fan base doesn't give a shit about that. They just want you to sit there and play games. Then sit there and play games. Keep your life out of this. Financial problems, keep that out. Keep any drama that's going on in your fucking personal life, keep that out. Shit about your girlfriend, leave her alone. Keep her completely out of this. And keep it strictly to games. Strictly to games and your opinion on games. That's it. Do that. But you can't. Because that's not interesting. And you know that. So yet again, back to my previous statement. The game don't stop. Because now it's just like when you were known for just playing the brand new games and that was it. You had no substance outside of that. And you were too scared or too lazy or both to expand off and do something else. So you boxed yourself in. You're doing the exact same thing right now. Now you have no choice but to rely on the detractors because it's all you have. And everything else that's beyond that is too scary, you're too lazy, or you know yourself you're going to fuck it up and make it worse. You're done, Phil. You right now are in the worst possible position because now other people can control you in a way that's probably never happened before. Your fan base is in shambles. Most of the whales are gone. You got nothing left. Now you need the detractors. Now they have full control of you. You're literally a mouse in a small maze. And anybody, not just myself, but anybody can open up one door and make you go through it. And then from there, put you in whatever little perpetual state that they choose until they're ready to open up the next door to let you out. So for you to sit there and say stuff like about SOK, about they're destroyed, yada, 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 if Fred decided to come back, if I can figure this out over the last couple of minutes, Fred definitely knows this. And you've just made it that much easier for him. And anybody else, in truth. Just something to think about.
For anything happening that has nothing to do with any of us. This whole escort situation, I had nothing to do with. They had nothing to do with. And there were a few people who absolutely may have gotten outside of the realm of what should have been done. And I fully agree that no one should ever be attacked. No one should be threatened. No one should be doxxed on any side. My side, yours, anyone's. Okay? It just should not ever happen. And I don't want that shit to happen ever again. I mean, we can all agree to coexist, whether you like me or you hate me, and not have to worry about actually getting hurt in real life. Okay. So let's do it. I'm curious. Obviously, I'm willing. And I'm sure a lot of people will say, he's full of shit. Blah, 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 blah.
And you are, because you've perpetuated the doxing of people. You've had people be slammed on their PSN accounts. You've told for people to be lambasted. That's taking it outside the realm of just games then, Phil, isn't it? For just having an opinion about you, you've done these things. You've had videos flagged and taken down. You've had channels taken down. They're rather deceptive and rather pitiful means. You've done all these things. And that stuff doesn't go away. So this truth, I've already broken down what the truth is, so I'm not going to go over it again. I've already talked about that. But you put yourself in a very bad spot. And you think this right here is going to you're really thinking that you're going to just use the detractors to help you further your own cause, thinking that we're both equal in this. Like, oh, well, you guys have to kind of protect me now and whatnot and go through me over certain things that are outside of my gaming and whatnot, because if you don't do that, then what else will you guys have to talk about? Phil, you're not going nowhere. Even at your lowest point, you'll be on YouTube or Twitch. And more importantly than that, Phil, you'll always run your mouth. So you'll always have something to say. So as long as a platform will give you that, you'll constantly do it. Like, for example, if you get kicked off Twitch, you'll go back to YouTube. And once that YouTube streaming probably thing won't work out very much, you might go to Hitbox or any of these other places. And guess what? Your bullshit will follow you. You can't go nowhere. You can't escape this. If this right here is the closest thing to Project 7. The only difference is the game is your life. And you can't really reset that, can you? I like that, actually. That's pretty good. That was actually pretty good.
Whatever. This is me, honestly, kind of opening up, being very honest, and just saying, I'm done with the drama. I don't want it anymore. I'm so done with it. Seriously. And you know what? By the way, like I was saying, if I fuck up, if I have another accident on stream, you have every right to make fun of me. You have every right to fucking rip me a new asshole. That's different from this escort situation that was 100% fake from the get-go. All right? I would rather have it that there's a group of people who love making fun of me but want to see me still exist so they can keep making fun of me, rather than now I get completely destroyed and everything ends because a false story completely slanders me and now no one wants to watch my stuff anymore.
You see what I'm saying? This is where, like I said, he wants Detractors to be the barrier now, to be the wall, this great wall to essentially keep the Mongol invaders out. That's what he wants now. Because he can't get rid of us. He can't outsmart us. And he can't out-entertain any of us. So now, okay, I'll make amends with you guys. I'll put the truths out. You guys, I will allow you to keep doing what you're doing, making these videos about me and about my dumb shit, but you guys protect me from that. I'm sorry, Phil, you didn't give me permission to walk into this, and you damn sure won't give me permission to walk out. Nor did anybody else. The videos don't stop. As for what's out there, maybe you should go out there and explore it yourself. Try not to threaten anybody's life while you're doing it. I don't work for you. This isn't a partnership. That's not what this works. You don't sign my paychecks, and I don't sign yours. So you're going to keep doing dumb shit, and I'm going to keep reporting on it. You're going to keep doing dumb shit. Snort Brunel is going to keep making funny shit on it. You're going to keep doing dumb shit, and Marcus Daily Productions, Mr. Stuffs, Dipshit Phil, all these guys are going to keep doing videos on it. You're going to keep playing bad and saying stupid crap and getting salty, and Volt Boy, SJ Cruz, David Davison, and everybody else will keep making great content on it. You're going to keep doing dumb shit, and great minds like Argent, Theo, Almighty Tevin, as well as others will keep going ahead and dissecting that. It's just how it's going to go. Like I said, Phil, there's no reset button on this. And this pathetic attempt to be like, hey guys, we can make it good for everybody. No. Remember, your initial existence, this will all go away if the haters and the detractors and everything bring me down. Now all of a sudden you want to go ahead and get into a partnership with us to protect you from what's out there. Nah, that's not how that works. I'm here for the laughs. So if you fall, I'm gonna report on it as you fall. And every boulder that you go, don't, all every way down, I'm here to laugh at it. That's what I do. And I try to be entertaining if I can. But that's what's going to happen. It doesn't stop. So you better figure out something else. You could just act like a decent human being. You could try that. But that might be asking a little bit too much. Even God has his limits.
All right? That's the attitude I'm taking. Okay? So, on behalf of, my viewers and everything, I'm calling a truce. I don't want anyone attacking anyone. And I would, like I said, like to open a dialogue in the future if shit happens like this again. Okay? And anything, opens up and there's a possibility where it could be a big situation, I would rather personally deal with it behind the scenes and get information cleared up and everything rather than have blow up like this did. Because at this point, I'm done with it. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here every day and defend myself. And obviously, the fact is, if I ignore it, people don't believe me anymore. And that's the problem, is I ignore it, and I got people accusing me who are fans of mine, saying they think that it might be true. And I'm like, are you crazy? 10 years. 10 fucking years. Okay? I've been on the internet putting myself forward publicly. 10 years I've shared my life experiences with everyone. Alright? 10 years. Free content on a daily basis. You would think that would at least earn me some kind of clout.
No, it doesn't. Because you've been a piece of shit for the majority of that. And people remember that. Now, most people say it's unfair that, you guys remember the good over the bad. The problem is there's so much that's bad. It outweighs anything that he's ever done that's good. He's screwed over everybody he's come in contact with. That carries weight. And Phil knows that. To think that just because you've been on a platform for a long time makes you think that you have clout is foolish in its own right. How long you've been there is irrelevant. It's what you do while you're on there is what people remember.
And of course, there's some people that would say, yeah, Phil, but over those years, this happened, and this happened, and this happened. Okay, but the bottom line is after 10 years, I'm still here. I'm still one of the most honest fucking guys on the internet. Like, you know a lot about me. You know, obviously, a lot about my life because I'm here on stream a lot. You know what I'm doing all fucking day. All right? And you would have think that would at least bought me some kind of benefit of the doubt.
Nope. You've lied about way too much. You've been caught in lies. You've taken people's money on the strength of lies. Why would anybody want to trust that? We've seen you expose your friends in situations that conversation should be between the two of you. If you will sit there and sell out a friend of yours, a comrade, someone who gave a damn about you, and at one time or another you gave a damn about him, if you would put that shit out on him just because, to prove some petty ass point, to make yourself look good, what makes you think the people out here that you really don't know, that you've never really spent any significant time with, would be any safer? What sense does that make?
Some degree with some people. And it did. Because I did have, like I said, in December, I had a tremendous amount of support from my viewers and fans who came out to help me with this tax situation. And I appreciate that. But moving forward, I don't want every single time that there's a situation where maybe there's something that's, I need help or whatever, someone's got to spin it into some completely fabricated bullshit story. Okay? So there you go. That's the deal. The whole escort story is over. Everyone can finally breathe easy. There's no more threats. There's no more animosity between anyone. And
what? What about the animosity for those people that were on those forums that you let fucking out to the wolves? That you just let them burn in the fire of Rome while you just sat there and fiddled? The game ain't done. What are you talking about? You got so much damage control amongst your own community that you shouldn't even be worried about us. You need to be worried about your own house. You need to clean that up. The game ain't over. Like I said, you have more problems on your own side now than you ever did over. Well, no, that's not true. You have a lot of problems on your own side now, within your own camp, within your own kingdom. Goutopia needs to be cleansed before you think about doing anything over here.
It was fake, just like I said from the beginning, but I'm not going to sit here and gloat and insult people or whatever. I understand when you look at the situation, especially if you were an outsider and you're looking at a 6-year-old social media account, you might have believed it. The whole thing's over. I want to move on positively, and I want to extend an olive branch to those who do actively seek to kind of ridicule me on a daily basis and say, go right ahead. I don't mind, and I'm not going to sit here and attack or make fun. But what I would like to say is I would like it to be a situation where if something like this situation happens again in the future, come to me first and let's talk about it like civil people rather than let it blow up to how bad it did, how bad it got for a month, and then everyone has egg on their face after a month. How does that sound? I guess we'll find
Who has egg on their face, though?
out. I was almost expecting one of these people to walk around the corner of my office and say, that sounds good, Phil. I've been here the whole time. Well, thank God that's not the case. I've been living in the empty office for these past 8 months. You didn't know? What the fuck? Anyway, folks. All right. So that's that. Let's end the drama and let's move on to our daily routine of what we're supposed to be doing here anyway. Okay?
Oh boy. All right, guys. So that was a long one. And there you go on that, though. I think that's about as concise as I was wanting to get with it. That was a long one, though. Final thoughts. You're a fool, Phil. You're an absolute fucking fool. Like, the detractor, okay, the detractors aren't even the problem now. You know what I'm saying? You have, shit in your own kingdom that you need to worry about. So you sitting here trying to, and that in this pathetic attempt to try to use us as a wall for everything else outside of that realm is no one's gonna fall for that, obviously. And being that I'm late reporting this, it's very obvious no one fell for it. So yeah, you wasted time with that. I don't know what to tell you, Phil. This was poorly done. Weak damage control, very lazy at best. You couldn't even take a few minutes to think it out. It's petty, and it's petty for the sake of being petty. So there you go on that. Ladies and gentlemen, like I said, there is one more video that will kind of truly, at least in my eyes, at least in, I guess, amongst you guys who come here, will kind of close out the escort saga. That'll just be my final thoughts, essentially. And then that'll be it. Then you guys can also expect my my tax video part 3. That'll be the last part on that, whether this is all real or not. And then let's see, what else do I have on the agenda? He's got some things going on with Nintendo. I'm under the impression that Snorpernell is probably going to do a video going over Brightside Viking being banned. That should be off Twitch. That should be funny. And there'll be some pretty interesting stuff after that. And then I might take, then I'm going to start jumping on to the second channel and start working that out. There's a lot of stuff I want to get done over there. I already got some stuff already recorded. I just need to post it. And that'll pretty much be it, ladies and gentlemen, as it pertains to that. Also, keep an eye out for Medicare's video. It should drop today being Saturday. So that should be very interesting. This video should go up today also. So look out for that. Should be a lot of content, hopefully quality content, but content nonetheless. Should be hitting you guys off. Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News. Always late, never breaking, unreliable coverage that you can't count on. A GTG Network and Productions. Actually, you know what? I'm not even sure if I'm going to put this video out today. Maybe it'll come out on Sunday then. We'll see. I'm sorry. We'll see. Either Saturday or Sunday it'll come out. Obviously, you guys won't know that because I'm recording this. But yeah, either Saturday or Sunday this will go out. It'll definitely go out before Monday. So if you guys want to wait till Monday or Tuesday, that's cool with me. All right, guys. This is your boy GTG signing off and the broadcast.